What everyone knows that we're here for is the main context of this presentation is 12 months to $1 million business in 2021. And these aren't just, fake numbers. This isn't us just sort of making stuff up. This is just to sort of capture people with this $1 million idea. These are real numbers that we're going to back into and show you how this is possible. Now, one thing to keep in mind, and it's going to become more clear later, is this doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to be doing $1 million in sales by the end of the first year. That's not what we're talking about. However, if you look into how business valuations work, a lot of times, especially for a newer business, it's based on annualized sales, annualized profits. And this kind of business, in all likelihood, you'd probably want to run for 2 to 3 years before you sold it. So what we're trying to get you to with the context of this presentation by the end of the first year is an annualized $1 million in sales. And we'll show you how those numbers work, because if you're doing an annualized $1 million in sales, this business is potentially worth, especially after a couple of years of running it, $1 million. Literally somebody does buy these types of businesses based on the numbers that we're going to be showing to you for that amount of money. That's what's possible with this business. We're going to show you how all this works. So that's what we're here for. Make sure you take lots and lots of notes. We are going to be sending out a replay, but still it helps a lot. It helps me specifically take lots of notes when I'm going through these presentations. I feel like I learn more. So if you're that same kind of person, definitely do the same thing. So first thing I want to talk about is a quick little story. So not long ago, my wife and I, we were on vacation in Barcelona, Spain. And, she kind of loves to sign us up. She's not like an adrenaline junkie or any of that kind of thing, but she loves to sign us up for these kind of adventures that she ends up kind of regretting later. So this one of this trip was a hot air balloon ride. So we've never done it before. I don't know if you have, but we had never done this kind of thing before. And it seems nice, nice and peaceful. You're in this little balloon kind of floating along. And so this van picks us up from the hotel, and then it drives us out to this field. And, I don't really speak Spanish. So I have no idea what half these people are saying. And so they drive us out to this field, and it's like, can't really tell what's going on, but they don't seem very certain or very happy. And so we find out later what the deal was, is they said it was too windy on that side of the hill to be able to take these things off. And so this is when I start getting a little doubts. So then they basically gather us all up and they take us to another side of the hill, not that far away. And they're like, okay, this place is safe. This is where we're going to launch these things. So we're checking these things out. They're shooting the flame to fill up the balloon. And then eventually we get inside the basket. And so we're inside this basket with our they call them pilots, with our hot air balloon pilot that speaks Spanish and doesn't really speak English. So I don't know what he's saying. It's hard to communicate with him. And so he starts shooting the flame up at the hot air balloon, and we start coming off the ground. And then, before too long, I'm like, yeah, this is kind of nice. You're kind of floating along and stuff. And then I keep looking at the ground. I don't really have a fear of heights, but I started looking at the ground and I'm like, man, we're getting really freaking high up. And then we start going into the clouds and then through the clouds. And all of a sudden the clouds are below us. I'm just like, holy crap. Like, I didn't realize these things go this high. And then, by this point, Callie's sitting there on the floor of the balloon and, she's freaking out. And I'm like, oh my God, we're in a freaking wicker basket shooting flames at a piece of cloth. And this is how we're flying. And so before too long, we're like, oh my God, we want to be done with this trip. But, eventually he starts basically taking us down. The trip is ending and we get so close to the ground because these things can't really steer. They just have to basically ride the wind. And so they gets very close to the ground. And then we're like, thank God this thing's almost over. Turns out we're in the middle of somebody's field and we can't land there. Literally get probably 20 feet from the ground. He has to take us all the way back up into the clouds. And then, we're riding this thing again, freaking out. Callie's back on the ground. I'm just like gripping the side of this thing. And eventually we end up getting off this thing and the whole thing ends. Callie's laid out on the ground. Now, why am I telling you this? Because right now, where we're at in the world with coronavirus kind of feels like that first descent and almost getting to the ground. We don't know if things are almost over. We don't know if we're almost coming back down from COVID-19 and the world's going to go back to quote unquote normal, all that sort of good stuff. So in my opinion, it's better to face today's reality, deal with the situation, and start taking steps to prepare yourself for any possible future. If we don't land right now, like a lot of people think we are because vaccines are going out and all that sort of stuff, if we don't land right now and we end up going back up and having to deal with a lot of the same stuff we've dealt this past year, What's going to be your plan? What are you going to do? And that's what we're here to talk about, to prepare you for no matter what happens. So here's the main 5 things we're going to cover today. So first is planning your roadmap, getting ready to launch your business, figuring out how it's going to work, where you're going to sell, what you're going to sell. So the first step is planning your roadmap. The second is choosing your first product to sell. Key part of this business is you need something to sell. So Mike's going to talk a lot about choosing your very first product out of the potential ones that you could sell. So there's a couple billion different products you could sell. You're going to narrow that way down and then choose the one to start with. Then he's going to show you how to source the product. How do you find a good, high quality supplier from anywhere in the world? Then third, how do you launch the product? How do you start producing sales as quickly as possible of this first product? So by this point, you've planned out your roadmap, you found a product, you've sourced it, you've launched it, you're making sales. Then it's time to multiply your sales and profits. And these 5 steps are what's going to help get you to this potential $1 million business by the end of 2021. So, building any kind of business takes time, it takes hard work, all that sort of stuff. This is an actual plan you can follow that doesn't require tons of guesswork. It's a step-by-step roadmap to get you where you want to go. So why does this stuff matter now? I mean, there's the obvious. There's COVID, that's sort of changed our world, thrown it upside down this past year. But also something you may not quite have realized is that businesses nobody thought would fail have been completely crumbling. Here's an example. Neiman Marcus. It's been in business since 1907. This is actually their Manhattan store. It's been in business since 1907. A business that existed for over 100 years. Who would think that kind of business would fail? It's filed bankruptcy this year. It could not deal with 2 things. First, the rapid change from COVID-19, but also the sort of long, slow dominance of online shopping. They have not built their business to be extremely effective in the online world. They've kind of done a hybrid model. And so that kind of business, there's been airlines that have been struggling like crazy, hotel groups that have been struggling like crazy, all kinds of businesses that, in my opinion, it wasn't like overnight these things were massive surprises. Sure, we've had some dramatic changes very quickly, but a lot of these things have been happening slowly over time. It's just kind of, I think Warren Buffett has a quote that's like, whenever the tide goes out, you find out who's been swimming naked, something like that. And so his idea is that, it's all easy to sort of cover up a lot of, bad business practices, about, inefficiencies when everything's going great. But as soon as things go bad, you find out who's in a good position for the long term. And I think we found out this year a lot of that for a lot of big businesses. So for you, if you work for one of these kind of corporations, you may be in a very risky spot. And almost nobody is not at risk unless maybe you work for a technology company or something like that. But for the vast majority of jobs out there, it's a risky position to be in going forward. A friend of mine, for example, has a master's in engineering from one of the top schools in the entire country, in the entire world, actually. He worked in the oil and gas industry, though. And this year, because the whole economy basically shut down, and there's a long-term trend to more efficient energy and clean energy and all that sort of stuff. But this year, because the economy shut down, oil got killed. These big oil and gas companies started laying off tons of people. And so he tried to build a business following this model years ago, but he basically ended up quitting and kind of giving up because he was nice and cushy with his job. He had a big wake-up call this year. First thing he did is he was basically applying to like 100 jobs a day while building a business following the same exact model, because he wanted a solid backup plan for the future. You should take this into account, because I want to know what your backup plan is. What is going to happen if the world changes or your employer goes out of business, or heck, you just want to be able to, when the whole world opened back up, you just want to be able to travel and do whatever the heck you want, because we've had this year of basically being hunkered down in our houses. What is going to be your backup plan? In my opinion, the best business going forward is selling real products that get delivered straight to people's houses, because no matter where they're at in the world, people are going to need this stuff. I need microphones, I need cell phone cases, I need my light over here, I need my camera you're looking at, I need everything that goes on in my house, my home office, my mobile office, all this sort of stuff. We all need this stuff in our lives. And if it's built on people driving around, going to stores, all that kind of stuff, not a good business to be in. But we're all still going to need this stuff no matter what happens. Greatest thing is you can build this business low cost. It's a worldwide opportunity. So we've got a lot of people from all over the world. I heard Switzerland, Pakistan, part of Africa, Canada. No matter where you're at in the world, you can absolutely do this business. Whether you live somewhere else or whether in the future you're traveling somewhere else, you can keep running this business. And the good thing is there are thousands and thousands and thousands of niche opportunities. That means all of us can build successful businesses without really affecting anything else. It's not like a zero-sum game where if I win, somebody else loses. We can all win at this. And the best thing is you're jumping into a long-term trend. This isn't sort of a short-term opportunity brought on by COVID. It's a trend that's been happening for decades. People buying more stuff online. And before this year, it was still about 15% of total online retail, or total retail was happening online. So lots of growth still ahead of us. And if you haven't noticed, Amazon's been absolutely crushing it. They kind of, not officially, but kind of became like an essential business this year. They literally had to step up and hire hundreds of thousands of more people to be able to deal with all the demand. Because when people couldn't go to stores or didn't want to go to stores, all of a sudden people are like, I'm going to Amazon. So faster than any period in the past, they've had to ramp up and grow and bring on extra people to be able to handle all that extra demand. And it's not going to go backwards. It's only going to go forwards because they've just kept extending and extending their lead. So that's the main reason we're going to be talking a lot about Amazon today. Not because we have some special reason or special deal with Amazon. It's just the best place to get started. One thing I want to do, just to make sure we're all on the same page, is I do want to give you a quick disclaimer. A little crazy. I'm going to read this thing just because we're going to be sharing some real stories, and there are laws around what you can share when you give, actual stories of people that you've taught. And so it is what it is, but it's also good just so we're all being honest here. So on this webinar, we're going to share real strategies we've seen work for ourselves and our students. We're also sharing with you real stories of real students with facts that are 100% accurate to the best of our knowledge. We've picked these stories for their inspiration and valuable lessons. Some students, however, like in any business, make little to no money. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme, and building any business, including this one, is going to require hard work, time, and an element of luck. However, if you commit, take action, and don't give up, we completely believe you can succeed. That is why we're here. So this isn't meant to be some big, scary disclaimer. It is what it is. And so just want to say that before start getting into some of the stories and Mike takes over. So one person I'd like to introduce you to is Anna. So Anna actually works in an IT department at a large, big public university in Colorado. In 2017, her and her husband, they were doing some real estate investing on the side. She even tried out a drop shipping course, but basically sold like 4 products to her friends and family and then never made any more sales. She ended up kind of finding us along the way. And, was really only able to she had her university job, was really only able to put in like a couple hours a week. And she said that, finding her first product was super scary, but also very exciting because she'd never done this kind of business before. So she ended up starting selling. And then 4 months later, she told us after she started selling, following these same steps you're learning here, she was doing $10,000 a month. 5 months later, she was doing $100,000 a month in sales. And now she tells us she's way more confident about her financial situation. She's got a son that she's basically paying out of pocket for to go to college. And she's also able to take nice vacations. And so overall, she's much happier. The reason I'm sharing this with you, because this is a very real story of somebody who has very real success. And this is what's possible with this business. This is why you'd be doing it at all. And so today, her business does over $400,000 a month in sales. This is a screenshot. It's actually from November 18th of 2020 to December 17th of 2020. So very recent. She's doing about $400,000 a month in sales with a business built following the exact same steps that you're learning here. Now, you may know a lot about us or you may know nothing about us. So before Mike takes over, why should you listen to us? We've had over 35,000 students since 2012. We've been doing this for a long time. We've created many millionaires with this business model because they built their businesses following the training that we provided, and they went on to build companies, in some cases sell them for millions of dollars, or build businesses that on paper are worth millions of dollars. We've collectively sold over $200 million online ourselves. We still do e-commerce, and I'll show you a screenshot in a second that proves this. We still do this stuff ourselves, so we're not just out here teaching it. We're actually doing this stuff every day as well. And we started right where you're at today. We're not some special people that have all these huge advantages. We started right where you're at. Didn't know anything, learned a little bit, had some success, had some failures, had some more success, kept learning and learning and learning and learning. And eventually we felt like we had enough stuff to come back and give to you to be able to help you move faster, have more success, and avoid a lot of the same mistakes that we made. So this is an e-commerce brand that I own with another business partner. This year, we've done over $14 million in sales. The only reason I show you this to you, not to brag or anything like that. I don't get anything out of showing this to you. Personally, I'm not trying to sell you these products or anything. It's just to show you that I still do this stuff and Mike still does this in our own businesses. So this is the monthly screenshots. So you can see the little cursor. Right now, we've done as much as about $1.8 million in sales. And December so far, we're at about 1.1, 1.2. We should end up about the same as last month. This is not really like a seasonal product. And so still do this stuff every day. Spend a lot of my time running and growing this e-commerce business. And so I'm in the trenches with you. And that's why I feel like I'm able to give a ton of value. And Mike, exactly the same. So, Mike has sold millions of dollars on Amazon. He's taught thousands and thousands of people how to do this business. He and I work very closely to help so many people go out there and build this business, do trainings like these. He is one of the very best in the world, in my opinion, when it comes to Amazon tactics, Amazon strategies, and specifically breaking those down for people just getting started like you. So I'll be here this whole time. But yeah, would love to turn it over to Mike so he can start going through the core part of the training.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, everyone. Like Matt said, thanks for joining us here in this Sunday morning or whatever time it is where you're at. It's about 10:30 or so a.m. here in St. Louis, Missouri. And as Matt mentioned, I've been fortunate. I'm really lucky and blessed to be able to teach thousands of people the business model that you'll be figuring out on this webinar today, learning today. But it did not always used to be that way. My journey actually started out pretty similar to maybe a lot of you on this call right now. After high school, I went to State University. That's University of Illinois right there on the screen. Then I ended up getting a regular corporate job at a cable company at the time, probably not the most glamorous. And then shortly after that, I got married and we had 2 kids. I even had 2 Labrador Retrievers back at the time. That was pretty much the standard that everyone did. But fast forward 20 years later from those dates, and here I was right there in that office you see. After 20 years in the corporate world, I had what looked to be a pretty good job. I enjoyed it somewhat, but decent salary, had a good life, good title. I felt like this was a corner office. Actually, I'd moved up after that amount of time. But as you can see, I'm kind of staring out at that traffic. And this was 2013. I was a little over 40 at the time, so don't do the math. And you would think that I felt like I kind of had it made, the typical college, family, corporate structure. And by my parents' standards, I absolutely did have it made. But in reality, all that time and after all that hard work and where I thought I wanted to be, all that I really had was this job. And it was filled with stress. I was traveling a lot far away from the family. I had long hours both at the office and even back at home working. Only had a few weeks off for vacation each year. There's no pension. I mean, pretty much unless you're here, like in education or government, pensions don't exist anymore. And there was real no hope for me that I was going to change anything anytime soon for that. And all that stress and all those hours working, it made me miss out on the one thing that really was important to me, and that was my family. And I was finding that even when I tried to take off a day or two to go to the zoo or the city museum, right here in this picture, it was causing me a ton of stress because all I was thinking about was all the work that I had to make up and the guilt even for taking that time off. I can think back to this picture right here, St. Louis City Museum, really cool place to go to. And I remember that I was having a really good time with the family. But at the very moment this picture was taken, I was stressed and I knew it because of work, all the stuff kind of building up. You can probably even see it on my face, or at least I can when I look at this. So shortly after that, at the beginning of 2013, right after I went back to work on January 2nd, because that's what everyone had to do, he probably still has to do right now, I started a quest to find my way out of that. And fortunately for me and for thousands of other people around the world as well, a few months later, I came across someone named Matt Clark on this webinar with me right now. And he, along with other folks at Amazing, they introduced me to this business that would change my life forever. And after learning and implementing everything and absorbing everything that he taught me, You might be wondering how it worked out for me. Well, on May 30th, 2013, remember that day very, very well, I made my very first sale ever for a product that I just created in a few short months. And after making more sales and even adding another product within just a year, on March 3rd, 2014, I was turning in my job notice. And then a month after that, I had officially quit that corporate job forever. All that was within less than a year of making that first sale. My last day was April the 4th, 2014. It fell on a Friday. I remember it. But I remember saying goodbye to everyone because that was the typical kind of thing you did back then, cake and punch. We could all go in the office and get together. But it is a bit of a blur. But what I remember even more than that Friday was the following Monday, the first day that I woke up, kind of that time I used to get up like 6 in the morning, getting ready to drive in, and I didn't have to drive into work anymore. That feeling, probably other than, getting married and having kids, it was by far the greatest feeling that I ever experienced at that point in my entire life. To know that, I no longer had to get up, fight through traffic, drive to the office, join in on countless meetings, work late into the night, and then, kind of like Groundhog Day, repeat it all over again. It was better than I'd even imagined that it was going to be. That freedom that I had and no longer having to work for someone else. It was incredible. Now, since then, I've been able to sell over $14 million in products online, doing what you're going to be learning right now. I even sold $250,000 in a single day, and I did it twice. Those circled figures are purchase orders from Amazon ordering over 10,000 products each time for me for a single sale around the holidays. I've been able to speak in front of 12,000 plus people at events like our SellerCon. I've also been able to share the stage with people like Richard Branson, Robert Kiyosaki, and others. There's Dave Asprey right there. Just been incredible. I've also co-hosted a webinar with Amazon, actually, on helping our members expand their businesses internationally. I've been able to travel to all these amazing places, not only just with people that I work with and train, but also with my family as well. And I've been able to help, like Matt said, over 30,000 people since I've been involved in this now build their own e-commerce brands. Now, today, though, I'm here to help you. And specifically, like Matt mentioned before, we're going to talk about how to build your own $1 million business. And to do this, we're going to be putting together a roadmap that you'll be able to follow. And I'm going to spoil everything right now because I'm going to cut to the very end and let you know what to expect with that. And at the end of this roadmap you'll be building, well, it's going to be your very own brand of physical products. That's the goal here. That's what you're going to be learning how to build. And if you're worried about building an entire brand of products, don't be. A brand is nothing more than just a few products that can be sold to the same people who have similar interests, just like these camping accessories you see right here. These 3 products, a camping blanket, an axe, a paracord bracelet, these 3 products combined, they sell over $300,000 each and every month on Amazon. That's a $3.5 million business in sales with 3 simple products. And this is just one example of an unlimited number of brands that you can build. This stroller liner that's in the middle, there's a baby swaddle blanket and wipe warmers. I'd never even heard of some of these. They generate over $200,000 a month in revenue. And then these pruning shears, there's an outdoor solar lantern on the left, a herb garden set on the right. They generate over $400,000 each and every month on Amazon. Now, having a brand with just 2 or 3 products, it's enough to have a business that changes your life forever. And if you're still worried about not having enough time or money to create multiple products, well, you don't have to be either. Because every brand, it just starts with one single product. There's absolutely no need to go out there and try to launch multiple products all at once. As a matter of fact, we absolutely do not recommend doing that. Just know that the initial focus that we're going to be talking about will be on one product, but not just any old product. It's got to start with the right product. That's the secret to building a brand. So if I were going to build, a brand like this right here, a camping brand, I would start with that axe right in the middle. With this baby brand, I'd start with the stroller liner in the middle. And then with this gardening brand, I would start with the pruning shears in the middle. Now, if you want to know why I'd start with those specific products, then stick around because I'm going to get to it here in just a minute. And I'll show you also not only why, but I'll show you how to choose the right ones to start with. And then how you can take those products and build an entire brand. Now, before we get into that though, I want to quickly talk one more time about what Matt mentioned about Amazon, and that, every $1 million seller that we know of and have trained, why all of them, including us, start our businesses on Amazon. And at the heart of it is because Amazon does a lot, so you have to do very little. Let me expand on that a little bit though. So when you look at this business model that we're teaching right now, at the very top of it, that is you. And your job is to find a product, build a brand that you can grow, turn into a cash producing machine, and then eventually, hopefully, if you want to, sell it for a significant amount of money if you want to, or just keep it as a cash producing business. Then the next part of the business is they're your customers. Over 200 million a month. It's growing. That's like an old figure Amazon shared. I'm sure it's even more right now, but they're shopping every single month on Amazon. And you're going to learn also how to find a supplier whose job then is to make the products for you, send them to Amazon for you. And then speaking of Amazon, they're at the center of all of this. Now, Amazon, they take care of everything else, such as receiving and storing your products, collecting payments from customers, picking the products from their warehouses, packing them into shipping boxes, shipping them to your customers, handling all product returns, handling most customer service for you. They then pay you via direct deposit every 2 weeks. And they even run advertising for you as well. You still will learn how to run your own, but Amazon, if you're doing well, they want to promote you because it's in their best interest to do that. Now, even though we're going to be starting our business on Amazon, at any point in time in the future at all, you can expand outside of Amazon. Amazon is just the starting point of it. Everything that you're building here, your product, your brand, even building up your customers, you can take that and go somewhere else, selling your own website, selling another platform. We just want you to start on Amazon because after doing this now for 8 or 9 years, we know without a doubt, it is by far the absolute best place to start your own business. So here's what we'll be covering today. Matt already mentioned it briefly. We're going to show you how to plan out your roadmap, how to choose that first product that's a part of that brand, how to source it, how to launch it, and then how to multiply your sales and profits to create and have a business worth $1 million. So first step here, planning your roadmap. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do right now. I think I'm going to turn off my video so that you don't get distracted too much by the training I'm going on here. Right? So I'm going to stop the video. All right. So I'm still sharing here. Okay. So let's get into this. So your brand is going to be your roadmap. It may sound a little odd how I'm saying that though, but think about it this way. So at the end of this map, you have a brand made up these 3 products. Remember, we're only focusing on one, but we want you to think about what you're going to be building in the future. So your roadmap kind of is these products right here. In the first 1 to 6 months, we want you to launch just your very first product. You may have those other products in mind, but don't worry about them. Just know that you're focusing on one product, and then at some point in the future, and we'll walk you through that, you'll be expanding your brand, your sales, and your profits. But during the 6 months, the first half year, just focus on that one single product. Then, after that product is making sales and generating profits, that's when you want to launch your next product. And then when both those products are making sales and generating profits, that's when you then want to launch your third product. That's how you build a multi-million-dollar brand and business. And you're going to learn how to do it today. And to do this, you only need 3 products to make up your brand. Now, if you're wondering that, how do I find those 3 products? Luckily for us, Amazon has anywhere from 350 million to over billions of products. They don't share this number publicly. BigCommerce found out that they actually can find 350 million products out there, but it's believed to be in the billions of actual products that they have on Amazon. That's how many products you have to choose from in order to build your own brand. Now, here's the process to do that. We're going to have you write down a few interests or activities. We're going to have you then search for relevant physical products on Amazon, and then choose 3 to make up your first brand. Now, don't worry if it doesn't make sense right now. I'm going to walk you through this. I'm actually going to show you how it looks live, but here's the process. So this first part is, thinking of the activities or interests, things you like to do. Things like hiking, cooking, camping, babies, yoga, anything like that at all. Maybe even pets. That's another interest as well. So think of some things. It can be 1, 2, many, whatever it is. Just think of something that you are interested in. Then the next step, when we're searching for these on Amazon, Here's the kind of secret way to search for them. Search for those types of activities or interests using words right after it like this: gear, so hiking gear, cooking accessories, camping tools, or camping gear or camping accessories. These are all interchangeable. How about gadgets? You could have cooking gadgets, maybe yoga gadgets. I like throwing in sometimes, if I can't think of anything, stuff. I want yoga stuff. I want pet stuff or baby stuff. Another good way to look for these too is gifts. If you're looking for gifts for babies or pet lovers gifts, things like that, all these different ways of searching are going to take an interest that you have and pull up some of the very best products on Amazon today for that particular type of category. That way, it's not going to tie you to one single product. It's not going to make you just get a camping lantern. It's not just going to give you a vegetable spiralizer. It's going to show you all the things that people who have those similar interests want to actually purchase and can come back and buy week after week, month after month from you. So for example, here we go. Let's imagine I'm looking for some hiking gear. If I do a search, that's what I'm going to see when I do a search on Amazon. I did this last night. We have an inflatable couch, trekking poles, survival kit, some paracord bracelets. I don't know exactly what they are, but they're doing really, really well. You have shoes, you have backpacks, you have a lightweight backpack, and a first aid kit as well. Then you have cooking gadgets, all kinds of stuff on there. There's a strainer, there's a chopper, all kinds of utensils. The one on the far right, the Zoe Chloe 3-piece dough press, never seen that before, but looks really, really cool. Also, if you want to do yoga accessories, there's all types. Oh, I'm sorry, these are baby accessories. These are all types of baby stuff here. We have, the smart monitor, the disappearing doll set for babies. The one on the far right, upper right, is a swaddle blanket. And this is just, I'm only showing you, 8 of the products on screen. When you go and search on Amazon like this, you'll find pages and pages of products that could be used to choose from in building your brand. So what you want to do, like we already talked about this, you want to write down a few interests or activities, then you want to search for relevant physical products, and then you'll want to choose 3 to make up your brand. Now, the next question, of course, is going to be, well, which 3 products? So for the free products, you're going to pick these 3 that we've broken it down into. The first one is going to be your starter product. The next one is going to be your growth product. And then the third one is going to be your dream product, the product that can be $1 million or more seller all on its own. But if you follow this path, this roadmap right here, you'll be able to build your brand quickly, safely, and with as little risk as possible as well. Now, for example, I'm going to show you a little cheat that we use that'll help us find out exactly what makes a starter product, what makes a growth product, what makes a dream product. So if I did a search again for these baby accessories, I'm going to use a tool called MBS Retriever. It's a Chrome extension. You can actually go out there and find it yourself. I'll ask you not to do it right now because I want you to make sure you don't miss any of the training here. But this extension, I'm going to, let me pull up my little highlighter here. So it's my little spotlight. This thing allows you to see the prices for so many products. It shows you the revenue for so many products. It shows you the reviews for so many products as well. You can see all these numbers right here that it's showing you. It's something that hardly ever existed back in, several years ago when we were starting out. But now this is a great way to look at an entire page of products on Amazon and see how well they're performing, what their prices are, their revenue is, how many reviews they all have. It's an amazing tool that we like so much, again, that we actually went in and invested in the company to do it. But I'm going to do this live for you as well to show you exactly how we're going to do this. So if imagine that, we want to find the starter product. There's some little rules we want you to follow while doing this. And I'm going to walk you through this. The starter product, because we have this really cool tool, we want it to be priced between $17 and $100. We want the revenue to be somewhere between $10,000 and $50,000. And we want the reviews of the product to be less than 1,000. All these things are the prime recipe for a great starter product that's not going to be too competitive for you to start with. Then your growth product, within months 7 to 9, you build this business. That's when you start going for something a little different. The price is going to stay the same. We always want to stick within $17 to $100, but the revenues, we can go more. We can go something a little more competitive, something that sells maybe $50,000 to $100,000 every single month. And reviews, we don't need to really worry about them after our first product. And then finally, this dream product, that's, again, like I told you, it's time to really go big for it. That's a product, again, priced between the same, 17 and 100, but the revenue can be anywhere over $100,000. If you think about that, $100,000 a month product, it's generating 1.2 million or more every single year. So let's walk through and look for something similar to these baby products right here. Okay, so I'm going to switch over my screen here. All right, so here I am on Amazon. If you can't see me or not, just let me know, guys, but I think that everything can be seen fine. I'm gonna do some searches here for, let's look first for camping gear. If we pull this up right here, we can see all these really cool products for camping. And if I wanted to see exactly how much money those products are making, then I would use this really cool tool we talked before, the MBS Retriever. Now, it may take a second. It's going out there calculating all kinds of data in the background for each of these products. And it's also going to pull in, how much revenue they're making. So if you can look here, this one product, I'll make this a little bigger for you as well. This one product right here, I'm going to annotate this. Let's see. This product is generating $579,000 a month in revenue. It's kind of crazy. Then we have, let's see, another one too, another portable LED camping lantern doing 61,000. And one thing that we're able to do as well is able to filter on all these products. So if I know that I want to find products that are only priced between $17 and $100, it makes it really easy to start excluding all the products we don't want to do. Now let's get to the baby products though that I wanted to show you. So we're going to go to baby accessories. Now, while it's pulling up all those products, I can go start over the MBS Retriever. It's going to pull in all that. Let me make sure I clear my graphics for you here so I'm not distracting everyone here. All right, so I'm also going to pull down the filters. I'm going to start filtering right away what we want, and we're going to first try to find our starter product. Price between $17 and $100. We want to make sure that it has between $10,000 in monthly revenue and between $50,000 in monthly revenue. And as we're doing this in real time, it is filtering all these products for us. And then we want to make sure that it has less than 1,000 reviews. So let's say the maximum reviews is 1,000. Now we do that, we already start seeing a lot of these products are being filtered out of here. So we can pick on these images right here. We have this baby diaper doll bag. We have these other bags over here. We also make sure that when we click off the images, we can see exactly what they're doing. These products are doing 23,000 a month. These are doing 21,000 a month. This would be some good products for us to check out for our starter product. Now, if we want to start looking for our growth product, then we're going to leave the price the same. Then we're going to start looking at a little bit more sales, $50,000 in sales, up to $100,000 in sales. And then I'm going to remove the reviews all together. Forgot a zero over here. And now we see several more products. We click on the images to see what they look like here. We're seeing, oh, there's that swaddle blanket we're talking about. We're seeing these bottle sterilizers, other little cute toys for kids, these onesies as well, just some, what is it, glass baby food storage, but several products here just from this one search of baby accessories. And I'm going to start looking again now for also a growth product. And all we're going to do is pretty make sure that the minimum revenue is just 100,000 and there is no maximum. And now we see here, there is a backpack. These are these wipe warmers, which I've never seen before. Looks like this is a convertible face, little baby carrier for your kids, and then some onesies as well. Now, this is just one way to find these growth, starter, and also the dream products. But when you're doing your searches, keep in mind that you don't always have to just type in the same term like baby accessories. You can type in baby gear, and what's going to happen? You're going to see a whole different set of products. These are different. A few may be the same, but they're going to show up differently. And when you start doing and using the MBS Retriever, you're also going to get different values here as well. So if you're worried like, hey, everyone here on this webinar is going to be looking for baby accessories and finding the same products, don't be. Type in baby gear, type in baby stuff, type in baby gifts. Amazon has so many tens of millions of products on there that the odds of you finding the same combination are so hard that you don't need to worry about it. Your goal is just to find 3 of these products that you really want to go with. Now, I happen to have already pulled up these three that I wanted. I'm going to move this over here and show you. These are the three that match all of our criteria. This is our dream product, the wipe warmer that's going to warm up the baby wipes. This was our starter product, the one that had, less than 1,000 reviews and still make good revenue. And then this was the swaddle blanket. And if I pull up Retriever on this right here, I can actually see how well these products are doing. Looks like the first one is doing over $118,000 a month in revenue. The next one's doing $25,000. The next one is doing 63, all within the criteria that we wanted. And this is well over $200,000 a month just from this one brand. And keep in mind though, we're going to start with the simplest one, which is this infant snug seat in this situation, because we know that's the one that's going to be really easy for us to launch. Here we're on Retriever. We wanted that starter product following these guidelines. We wanted the dream product and the growth product following these guidelines. We found these three products. We're able to see them here on Retriever exactly like we wanted them, matching the criteria. And then if we add that all up, these three products added up to be over $207,000 a month in revenue. Now, if you multiply that times 12, that is $2.5 million a year just from these three products. Now, again, we have to still pick the one product. We're not going to go out there and launch all three of these because we just know that it's going to, be too expensive. You don't want to go out there and take that much risk. It's going to take too much time. So now your first product you want to choose out of the three that you come up with, it's going to be your starter product. Now you're thinking, well, duh, of course it is. That's the one that we kind of said is the starter, kind of makes sense. But there's a reason for that as well. There are three critical elements of that first product. It wasn't that we just wanted one that has the least amount of revenue. We want to make sure that that first product has low competition, because you're going out there and starting a new business. You don't want to compete against the big top sellers out there. So you want to make sure that it has less than 1,000 reviews, which we did with our criteria. And when you look for a product that has less than $50,000 in revenue, you're kind of staying away from all the other products that all the top sellers out there really want to go out there and go after. So you're flying under the radar. That makes it a low competitive product. Now, even though you want a low competition product, you still want enough demand, because you want to make sure that you're going to make enough money off this product. So that's why we're looking for products that still have over $10,000 in revenue. That's a great indicator that they have plenty of demand. And the mere fact that these products are showing up right on the first page when we're doing searches for these big search categories like baby accessories, camping gear, hiking gear, that tells me there's enough demand. Otherwise, Amazon wouldn't be putting up there anyway. And then the last thing, you want to make sure that this product has good profit potential as well. Because if we aren't making profit, then we're not going to be able to fund the rest of your roadmap that you're going to be working on over the next 6 to 12 months. Now, coming up, I'm going to show you exactly how to find that product, but let me show you what it looks like. So for this product right here, this is the stroller liner, something you put inside of a stroller in order to make your kid and baby more comfortable. I've already went through and figured out all the profit numbers for it. So this product sells for $49.99. It does about 525 monthly sales on Amazon. Retriever told us that. It changes and updates all the time, but it's a little over 500 right now. The product cost, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do this, is going to be $8.80. And what I did, I even added in an additional $2 for shipping to make sure that we can import this wherever it's made and get it sent to Amazon. The Amazon fees, then, what Amazon's going to take as your cost for being on their platform, getting access to millions and millions of people, is going to be about $19.56. That means that for this product, this starter product, nonetheless, has a monthly profit of $10,836. All that profit, once we get it up and selling, we're going to use to fund building the rest of your brand. That's the plan. Now, in order to figure out the profit, to make sure you know how to sell this, that you can sell this, we need to source that product. The way to do that is that we go to a site called Alibaba. It's pretty much the only site that you'll ever need in order to find a product and sell on Amazon. Now, manufacturers for almost every product selling on Amazon are listed here on Alibaba. So for example, when we go here, it's alibaba.com, by the way, and you do a search for stroller liner, we're going to see that there are 1,161 different suppliers for this single product. And all you need to do is scroll through and look for a product that looks very similar to the one that you're looking for. Now, if you see this one I've pointed, highlighted right here, we can see that they're willing to sell this stroller liner anywhere from $5.80 to $6.80. That's how I found that number that I used in the previous quotation there. And of course, the lower the amount you'll get from the lower dollar you'll get in cost-wise means that that's for a lower MOQ or minimum order quantity. So if you only order a couple of hundred to get going with, then you're going to get the higher price. But if you're going to order 500 or 1,000, they're going to give you the lower price. Now, also, you want to try to figure out if these manufacturers can do packaging for you as well. And that's why you start communicating with them on Alibaba to see exactly what quotes they'll give you and what's included in that quote. It's very simple. Searching on Alibaba is very similar to searching on Amazon. Now, if you want to find a product that's made either in the United States or in, that's something that if you want to get a product that's put on your skin or you put on your body, that's where you want to go to the United States. Think about vitamins. Think about any kind of supplements you might take. Think about skin creams, things you put on your arms, your face, whatever it is. Also think about cleaning products. Anything that you clean your home with or that goes in your body or on your skin, that's where you want to go to Google and do a search, because that's where most manufacturers are. They're in the United States. And doing a search, that is very, very simple. You simply put in the product you're looking for and then put in the words private label, either before or after that. And that's going to start pulling up tens and hundreds of thousands of other companies that have now grown and exploded because of Amazon's growth that will help you private label your products and offer to make them, label them, and manufacture them for you here in the United States. Now, once you've gotten quotes from Alibaba or maybe in Google, you can use that info then to estimate how much profit you can make off of each product that you sell. To do this, we use this tool called the Amazon FBA Revenue Calculator. You can find that doing a simple Google search as well. And when you pull it up, you enter in the product that you're looking to sell, like this stroller liner right here. And then you're going to put in a little more information as well. You put in the price you'll be selling at. In this case, I put in $49.99. You put in the cost of the product, which in this case, we're going to use the higher one to be safe. We're going to put in $6.80. I also put in some shipping estimates. Usually it's somewhere between $1 and $2 because this is a little bit bigger of an item. I'm going to say that it's going to be about $2. And then when you hit the calculate button, it's going to show you the estimated profit margin, both in dollars and in percentages. And for this particular one, it's almost a 41% profit margin, a little over actually, and $20.64 that you'll make in profit for each product that you sell. Now, some important tips about selecting your product and your supplier. You want to sell a high quality product. That's just going to make sure that you have happy customers. And the happier your customers are, the more sales that you will be making in the future, especially with reviews and less returns and better star ratings. And you also want to make sure that you create and own the brand. You don't want to sell someone else's brand. We're talking about creating a brand, a brand of products. Creating your own brand is really very, very simple. Think about these cell phone holders that I actually have for my car right here. They all look, pretty much exactly the same. However, if you look right on the front of them, they just have a little bit of a logo on them that makes them a little different. It's very simple to find a manufacturer in Alibaba to make any one of these cell phone holders for you, and then they will put your logo on the product. That's what it means to create your own brand. And that way, when you're selling this product, you and only you selling it, and you're not competing against someone else selling your own brand, like Tide products or Gillette shavers. You create your own, and that's how you build a brand that's an asset for life. Now, in this example for this baby stroller liner, take a look right here. All they did, they put this little bitty tag on the bottom of it that had their brand called Uppa Baby. That is how you can brand even a product like this that may not even seem to make sense to do. Now, when you're thinking of your brand, it's not that really difficult to do. You want to think of some potential brand names for your market. Think of the type of people you're selling to, the types of products. And then once you have a name, go and look for either .com domains or trademarks in the USA. You can actually do that by going to GoDaddy.com and going to the US trademarks.com or just doing a Google search for them. You also want to get a logo created for your company. You don't have to put it all on yourself. You can hire someone on Fiverr.com, that's Fiverr with 2 R's, who can create a logo for you, anywhere from $10 to $20. Or if you want a little bit more of a high quality one, You can go to 99designs.com. They're usually about $200 or $300 though in order to create a logo. Then you also want to get packaging designed. Now, you could either go to 99 Designs and pay someone else to do that, or go to your manufacturer for your first product. They can usually do this completely for free because they want your business. All they'll ask for you is your logo and then what you want on the packaging, but they usually have some standard templates or designs for the products they sell because they know that customers need those. Now, if you're worried that, why is someone going to buy my stroller liner with my little logo on it, or they're going to buy my camping axe with my little logo on it, well, don't worry about it. People shopping on Amazon, they're not going there looking for brands unless you're Apple or Nike, who's not even there anymore, or some other big brand name product out there. People are looking for products. They look at prices. They look at reviews. Look at all of these taco holders out there. When we decided to sell and buy taco holders, I didn't know that there's some like magical huge taco holder conglomerate out there that owns the market on taco holders. I don't even know what companies make taco holders, for example. All I know is I would go to Amazon, I would look for taco holders that have great images, look for ones that have a great price, check out the reviews, and I would buy them. I'm not going to go out there and specifically look for a certain brand for 99% of the products that I buy on Amazon. And that's what most people are like as well. They might also be wondering how much inventory you need to order. Here's some rules of thumb. You want at least 200 or 300 units to start off if possible. That gives you enough to do a successful product launch and start building up some profit for your next order. The typical product cost will be somewhere between $5 and $10. We saw that exactly for that stroller liner. Most products are that way. Some are cheaper, some are more. The inventory cost then, using these numbers, would be somewhere between $1,000 and $3,000 for your first inventory order. And then the plan would be, as you sell more, you can use those products to order more later on. Now, this should include your packaging, your labeling, and shipping to Amazon as well. And you do want to avoid one big mistake, and that's taking on too much risk. You're starting a new business here. It's got the potential to change your life, but there's no reason to go out there and order 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 units. You don't have to. You don't get that much of a price break for doing so. So it's best to start out small, order what you know you need, what we're recommending, 200 to 300 units, and then make sure that you understand every step of this process before you increase your orders, and then also before you start launching in other products as well. Now, speaking of launching, the next step, once you have chosen your first product, found your supplier, is to launch your product. Now, after you get your product ready for sale, so we found it, we get the supplier to create our packaging for us, we know our brand name, the product may be ready for sale, but now we need to get your product to show up for sale on Amazon, because just having it out there, it's not quite enough. So imagine that, again, I want to go out there and buy some taco holders. When I do a search, again, here's all those taco holders that show up. Now, if your product isn't showing up in this list, then there's a chance that I'm not going to buy it because I don't even know it exists. Most people aren't going to scroll down past the bottom or maybe page 2 or 3 on Amazon. So how do you make sure that your product shows up before the other hundreds of similar products on Amazon? We do it using our launch and rank formula that I'm going to walk through right now. The steps for that are: first, you want to discover the best search terms for your product. You then want to use those to create a powerful product listing. Then you want to use those same search terms again to do some advertising. And then you want to drive targeted sales with something called cash back offers. Now, for our taco holders, this is actually what they look like. The Verve was the kitchen brand. We created these just for the sole purpose of making sure that, we could show people that we don't just teach this. We don't just run this in our own businesses. We can do this whenever we want to. We can create another brand to show you exactly how it all works. These taco holders sold out within a month. We actually have another order on supply right now. They're sitting in a port waiting to be delivered from the Long Beach port to Amazon. And hopefully here before the week's over, they'll be live again. Matt and I also use these taco holders. I've shared pictures. We love them so much of us using them for families, creating some great taco dishes. So how do you then do your launch and find some of the best search terms? Well, the first way to start is go check out your competitors. So if you were going to sell the baby stroller liner, or in this situation, the taco holders, start off by doing a search. And then when you see the products that are out there, go check out a few of them. And what you're going to want to do in this step is start making a list of the different search terms that we're going to find in other products listings. So right here on this another top competitor of ours, you can see that in their bullet points, they're saying, hey, there's a taco holder restaurant grade 4-pack. If they're putting it in there, there's a good chance people are searching for that because that's why they're putting it into these bullet points. Same thing, people are searching for taco stands. I may think of them as a taco holder, but if other people are looking for the same product different ways, which there are millions of different ways to search on Amazon, you want to make sure you cover those other ways in your product as well. And we're looking here to find that out. This seller knows that people call it a taco stand. They also know that they're considered to be stainless steel taco holders, or in some situations, just taco shell holders. So when you see different ways of describing your product on your competitor's listing, make a list. We're going to use those later on. We're not going to copy everything verbatim. We just want to make a list of all the different ways people are looking and finding products. Another great way, go check out the reviews for all your competitors. And one really cool thing that Amazon added is they added in these reviews that mention certain words repetitively. That's my way of calling it. But basically, when Amazon's AI, their artificial intelligence, goes through all of their reviews for a product, they pick out the terms that they see the most often. And right here, it makes pretty much sense. They're saying these reviews show a lot of the words stainless steel, easy to clean, taco holder, highly recommended, perfect size, high quality, all kinds of things people are talking about in their reviews. And what we use, and one of the things that a lot of sellers don't know, we're going to use these terms to put them into our listing as well. If people are talking about them being stainless steel, I want that in my listing somewhere. If people are talking about how well and easy to clean it is, I want to make sure in my listing that we're saying that these are easy to clean. That's all going to help me get our products up and showing up in the searches when people are searching for things like that, like easy to clean taco holders, and make sure that mine show up before the competition. Now, when you're making this list, here's a little tip. The longer the search term that you see, the easier it is to rank for. So taco holder is just 2 words. We can still rank for that, but we really want to rank and start off ranking for the longer search terms because they're not as searched for that often, which means our competition, they don't really have them on their radar. If you do a search on Amazon for just about anything, you saw it when I was typing in baby accessories, Amazon is going to start telling us all the other ways that people are searching for products. So if you typed in taco holder, they're going to show you things like taco holder stand stainless steel set of 2. And down here, I see one called taco holder stainless steel set of 4. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 words. If you count the of in there, that's a very long search term. So I know from years of experience that to rank for that search term is going to be much, much easier than to rank for just taco holder. So I am going to use that as one of my primary search terms that I know about when launching the product. Now, once you've completed your keyword research using what I just told you here, the next step is going to be creating a powerful listing using exactly what we just found in our research. So you're going to want to put your main keyword near the beginning of your title. Now, I already mentioned that taco holder stainless steel set of 4 is one of the search terms that we discovered was going to be pretty easy to rank for to start off with. So if you notice, when we did this search on Amazon, right there was our product. We put taco holder stainless steel set of 4 into our listing, and we were starting to show up within the first 4 of the searches for that listing within a matter of just a few weeks. Now, the other keywords that you have in your list, put those into your bullets, put them into your description. And you want to focus on, speaking of your bullet points, the benefits of your product, not just the features. So if you look at this, what we put together in our list right here, look at the way that we frame our different bullet points. No more messy tacos. That's the benefit of it. No sharp edges. These are restaurant grade. Again, another benefit. More time eating, less time cleaning. Again, another benefit. That's one of the secrets that we found that gets people not only using the right search terms, finding our products, but then wanting to buy ours because they're going to read through the benefits and think about how much better their life is going to be just because they have these taco holders. They're going to have taco nights with no more messy tacos. They're not going to be risk about their kids or pets getting cut by these other sharp edge taco holders. And they're going to be able to save time cleaning up and focus more time on hanging out with the family eating. That's how you want to think of when you're always trying to plan out your bullet points, not only including the search terms, but talking about the benefits. Next, you want to make sure you include high quality images for your products, including lifestyle photos of your products being used. Studies have shown that Showing people smiling, happy, using your products will increase conversions or the number of people that want to buy your product. So always include those in your listing. And then the last step, now that we got the title, the images, the bullet point description, is to go ahead and get 5 to 10 reviews for your product. Now, even today, the best way to do this still is your friends and family. That's the easiest option. Now, if you don't have, let's say you're selling in the United States, you live somewhere else, well, then you don't have to worry about it too much, because there are ways on Facebook to join groups that might want to get your product and try it out. Or once you start selling, let's say that you can't get in reviews, it's totally fine, because when you start selling, Amazon's added this little button called request review. So as long as you're able to start getting some sales in, then for every order that you have placed, you go into your Amazon account, you click on the request review button, and then Amazon is going to actually send that customer an email asking them to review your product. That's a great feature. And we're finding this simple button is getting us more reviews than we ever had before. Now, I went through a lot on creating your listings. Let me summarize very quickly what it is. You want to put your primary search term in the title. You want to use the other search terms in your bullets and your description. You want to focus on the benefits of your product. You want to get high quality images, including lifestyle photos of your product. And then, if possible, you want to get 5 to 10 reviews from friends and family. Now, after creating your powerful product listing, the next step is to use those same search terms in advertising. If you've never done advertising before, don't worry about it. Amazon has made this dead simple to get started. So once you've signed up and you have your own Amazon Sell Essential account, you'll have a screen like this. This is how you actually create advertising campaigns right inside of Amazon. The one we recommend you get started with, the one that's the easiest, it's called sponsored products. This is simply a way to have your product show up anytime customers on Amazon are searching for products like yours. So if you want your product to show up when people are searching for taco holders, this campaign and this type of advertising platform will let that happen. So once you click the button to start creating your campaign, you're going to go out there, and all you need to do is pick your daily budget. You don't have to spend a lot of money advertising. You can spend as little as $10 a day if you want to, just to get started. And remember, you only pay for an advertising when someone clicks on your actual ad, not every time it shows up, only when they click on it. And then what we're going to choose is also manual targeting. There's lots of other options in here. This is just the simplest way to get going. When you choose manual targeting, that means we're going to tell Amazon what searches we want our product to show up for, because we have done a lot of research and we know which searches we believe people are looking for when searching on Amazon. Now, when you do the next step here, it's going to show your product. You simply click the add button to this campaign. That way, when you're selling 2, 3, 5, 10 products, you create one campaign per product. Right now, we only have this one product, so we're going to add this one to the campaign. Next, when we go in there and tell Amazon what search terms we want to start advertising for, another real easy way to get other ideas for search terms is simply to use this option where it says enter the list, start typing in what your product is, and then you'll see all these different search terms show up. Amazon, again, using all their detailed data about their customers, they know better than anyone people are searching for. They're giving us an entire list of searches that we know people are actually using and that they think we should add to our campaign. All we need to do is click the button at the bottom that says add all keywords in this list, and they're going to go over here into this list of search terms that we'll be advertising for. It's as simple as that. You start your campaign, and then within a matter of a few hours, your product will start showing up, showing it to potential customers. They'll be clicking on it, checking out, and if you've done what we've showed you with the images, the title, the bullets, you'll be getting sales. Now, here's another cool tip. Those suggested search terms that I showed you that show up inside of creating your advertising account, go back and add some of those you didn't already include into your product listing. You may have missed some. You may not have seen them in someone else's bullet points. You may not have seen them in the suggested search on Amazon itself when we're searching for taco holders. In the advertising campaign, pick out a few that you didn't have and see if it makes sense to put them into your listing as well. One very powerful thing is to advertise for a certain search term on Amazon and to have that somewhere in your listing. It makes your listing very relevant. It gets you lots of traffic, and traffic that's cheap as well. Now, after using those same search terms in advertising, the final step of launching and ranking is to drive targeted sales with cash back offers. Now, this strategy is kind of top secret because Only people that really know how Amazon works in the background, how Amazon decides to show products to other customers when they're searching for them. Only those who really know what's working, like us here at Amazing, know that this strategy works better than anything else to date for getting your product ranked for searches and getting sales on Amazon. Now, if you don't know what a cashback offer is, it's pretty simple. You simply offer your customers a 100% product rebate in exchange for purchasing your product on Amazon. Now, keep in mind, this is not to ask for product reviews. That's not at all what we're doing here. Amazon frowns upon that very much. They do not want you to incentivize people to give you product reviews. That is not what we're doing. This is simply to promote the launch of your product. And it's been used in retail for years. And what this does, this actually kind of jumpstarts Amazon's algorithms in the back end to let them know what people are searching for and then buying your product for, because that's what they're usually spending the first few weeks figuring out. By us doing these cashback offers and having people do these searches the way we want, then it's going to jumpstart that entire process and get our product ranking even faster. Now, Walmart is one company using this for years. Red Bull's been using it for years. So many companies do cashback offers. You've probably gotten it before wherever you go shopping. There's always a way to get a cashback offer. The secret, though, when you're selling on Amazon to make this really effective is to first ask your customers to search for your product before buying it. Doing this is going to tell Amazon what keywords to better show your product for, and again, get you really ranking on Amazon's searches. Now, if you're wondering like how you can do this, one easy way to find people to offer your product for and then give them a rebate for is Facebook. So here's a little post that I kind of made. I made this last night, just kind of show you what it was. Hey everyone, I decided to start a brand new business and I've launched my very own brand of products on Amazon. I'd love for you to help me launch and test it. I'll even pay for the order myself if you're willing to help me out. Just comment below or shoot me a message. And then I put a little picture, what I think is a compelling picture of our product so they know what it is. Now, if you don't want to post on your personal Facebook page, that's totally fine as well. There's also tens of thousands of Facebook groups out there with all different types of interests. You can find them and then see if any of those people also want to participate and get free products. You'd be surprised, people love free products. Now, once someone reaches out to you, the next step is to send them a message and let them know what they do. Someone says, hey, Mike, I'd love to shake you up in this. Follow up with a Facebook message or a text message and say, hey, I'm so excited for you to try my product. It's completely free. I'll send you the money back either in Facebook or by PayPal, whatever is easier for you. And then you give them the instructions. You tell them to go to Amazon. You tell them to search for whatever you want to rank for. And remember, we started out, we're going to go for the longer one here. We're going to have them search for taco holder stainless steel set of 4. You want them to find the product. And I always give them a picture of the product in my message so they know what it looks like. You want them to order it. And then I'm going to reimburse them once I know that they've ordered that product. Now, one really simple way, other than PayPal, which is another easy way, or Venmo, you can now pay people right through Facebook. I don't know if you've seen this inside of Facebook Messenger. If you send people, if you want to send people money, there's that little $sign that's under there right next to the thumbs up. You click on that and it allows you to send anyone money anytime you want. It's incredibly simple, but hardly anyone is using it right now. So you ask people to search for your product and buy it. And you do this 5 times a day for that main keyword we're going to launch and rank for until your product then appears on page 1 for that. And it'll happen usually within a week to 2 weeks. And then when that does happen, we want to move on to our next keyword. So if we're going to come up with a list of 3 to 5 keywords that we want to eventually rank for, we start with the first one that's very long. Once we're on page 1, go to the next one that might be a little shorter, a little more competitive. Once we're on page 1 for that, then we go to the next one and so forth. That's how you continually move up for search terms on Amazon. And don't worry, when you rank for one keyword, Amazon knows, and this is a taco holder. They know that people are searching for taco holders, stainless steel set of 4. You will start ranking just for taco holder. You start ranking for stainless steel taco holders. Amazon's very smart and they know that these keywords are all related, and you'll start moving up in multiple keywords, even when you just start ranking for one. Now, if this sounds a little complicated and confusing, trying to go out there, find people to buy it, messaging with them, sending money back, we actually have a system that does this for you. And we'll talk about this a little later on, but you can do it manually. There's nothing wrong with it, but just know that there's also a few other options out there that allow you to kind of take care of this whole process. You put your product up, you tell the search terms you want people to order for, and then it takes care of it for you. That's what we use here now because we're launching so many products. So the 4th step was driving those targeted sales of cashback offers. And for one, if all these steps here works, Well, let me show you what happened. Here is our search we did for taco holder stainless steel set of 4 after launching our taco holders. You can see we typed it in up there. Here was the first page of results. And then there was our product right there on page 1. That was only after a few weeks of getting our product up and selling. Keep in mind that the one on the left, that's an advertisement. The one next to it, that's an advertisement. That means that really this was the first real organic listing. This was the second. Ours was number 3 in the search results for this search term only after a week or so. Now, what happened here is for all the search terms, we track these things like crazy. We want to make sure that as we launch our products that we're moving up as planned, and it works like clockwork, but it's always good to see that. You can see here that for all the keywords that we were ranking and launching for, they were all moving up. This goes from the right to the left. Started out in May 27th, 2020. And as you go to the left here, that's just every day. You'll see that as we're getting very near the end of this entire launch, many of our products were not only on the first page of Amazon results, they were in position number 1 or 2, which is crazy for a brand new product. But I shouldn't say crazy. It is repeatable because we've been able to prove that and teach that time after time. Now, at the end of the day, though, ranking is awesome. Having your product show up on page 1 is awesome. But if you don't make sales, then it doesn't really matter. For this product, here's how we did. We were able to sell over 380 units of that product all within a couple of weeks of time. That's over $5,000 in sales. And that was just for a brand new product that we launched, all just to prove and show how this business model works. Now, for this particular product, the profit margin on it was $6 each, or 27%. That means that we were selling at the end about 30 units per day. That makes it about 900 units per month in sales. That means the monthly revenue was $19,800, but the monthly profit was $5,463 for just some taco holders. Now, when you add that all up, this product has an annual gross profit of over $65,000. All right, I want to take a quick little break here. I want to ask everyone, are you enjoying the training so far? Everything kind of making sense? Sure, great, awesome. Okay, so glad. I always like to touch base and make sure. This is something a little bit new we're teaching before now. Talking about how to build your own brand. Think of your own brand at the beginning is a new concept that we've been seeing great results. Some of our students who've sold their businesses for millions of dollars, they are ones that always give us feedback. And this is one of their secrets. And that's why we're sharing it with you today. Think about your 3-product brand when you get started. Start with your easiest product at first, and then move on to the other products in your brand. You're learning this strategy that is from the very best sellers on Amazon right now. All right, so let's go through what we went through so far. Step 1, you want to plan your roadmap. For example, that can just simply be this axe, this sleeping blanket, these paracord bracelets. It can be this little snuggly blanket thing, this stroller liner, these warm wipes. It could be this pruner, this solar garden lamp, and then also these garden herbs. Each one of those is just one of thousands, if not millions of examples of brands you can create in different combinations. Now, at the end of the map then is a brand that's made up of 3 products like this. So in the first 6 months, your goal is to launch your first product. Don't even worry about products 2 for 3 right now. Have them in your mind. Do the research so you know later on you will be launching the Build Your Brand. But right now, start with the easiest product first. Then, once that product, that first product is generating sales and making profits, use those profits to launch your second product. And then, once both those products are selling and bringing even more profits, that's when you launch the 3rd product of your brand. You can do the first one in 6 months. You can do the next one 3 months following that. And then using the profits again, you can do that 3 months following that. So by the end of 12 months, your goal should be launching that 3rd product that is your dream product, because you now know this business. You now have funded that product using the profits from the previous 2. And that's how you build a business that can be doing $1 million a year in sales. Now, you also want to, the step 2 was to choose your first product. Remember the 3 critical elements were finding a product that has low competition, enough demand, and also good profit potential. And we found this product right here, the stroller liner, that met all those and also produced over $10,000 a month in profit. The next step was to source that product. And we learned we can do that very easily just from Alibaba.com. And then the fourth step was to launch your product. And to do that, you discover the best search term for your product. You create your powerful product listing. You use those same search terms in advertising. And then you drive targeted sales with that secret strategy of cash back offers. Now, for step 5, we're going to talk about multiplying your sales and your profits. And to do that, this is kind of like the simplest or most straightforward part. You're simply going to follow the roadmap. Follow your brand that we thought of early on before you even purchased your first product. So when you go ahead and you start out selling an axe like this, your roadmap then, 6 months later, is to launch product number 2, like this camping blanket. And then 3 months after that, you're going to launch again these paracord bracelets. Or maybe it's this liner. Then within 6 months after that, you're going to start thinking about launching this baby blanket. And then after that, it's going to be these wipes. And for the pruning shears, you're going to follow up with a solar lantern and then also this herb garden, or any number of millions of combinations of products, of brands that you will be building and searching for on Amazon. You start with the least competitive product with the goal of selling 10 units a day. This is going to break down the math here right now. So if you follow the training, that should happen within 6 months. If you think of it, that's a very low target to aim for. You find a product, you get it sourced, and all we want you to do is get that product selling 10 units a day. That's not a big ask to do. Then you're going to use the profits from that first product to start your second one. Now, the goal here is to do that within months 6 to 9. Then once that second product is selling 30 units a day, that's when you use the profits from both products to start your third product. Now, in 6 months, that means you'll have one product, the plan of doing 10 sales a day. Within 9 months, product 2 is launched, doing 30 sales a day. And then within 12 months, you're launching your third product with the goal of hitting 60 sales a day with that product. We're not adding these up with each other. This is each product doing that number. Product 1, 10 sales. Product 2, 30. Product 3, 60. So when you add it all together, the goal after you launch your third product is to get to 100 sales a day with your brand. Now, if you think about the math on that, that's 100 sales a day times 365 days in a year times an average price about $30. It can be different, 25, 35, 40. Let's just say it's about $30, which is a really good average price on Amazon. That means your sales revenue is over $1 million, or $1,095,000 a year to be exact. And one thing that people always want to know is, what's the profit margin in this business? We always shoot for a minimum 25% profit margin. Usually we have people get much more than that, especially when you're selling products like supplements, vitamins. Those have really crazy high ones. If you're selling smaller products with easy shipping, those have crazy high ones, 30, 40% profit. But with a minimum target of 25% profit, that is over $250,000 in annual profit, not sales, but profit for your business. Now, as Matt mentioned, we know for a fact that physical products businesses like what we're talking about here can be sold for anywhere from 3 to 5 times their annual profits. The range can be much bigger. If you're selling for many, many years, you've been around for a while, if you have a whole bunch of products, that multiplier that we're calling it, that 3 to 5, it can go up to like 6, 7, 8. But in general, if you're starting out, you have a business been around just for a couple of years, anywhere from 3 to 5 times your annual profits is a really good multiplier. So if we take that, we know we got a brand doing $250,000 a year in profits. Let's take the middle number between 3 and 5 and make it 4. That means that this business, when evaluated and when valued, could be worth $1 million. A 4 times multiplier times your $250,000 a year in advertising builds you $1 million business. And that is how you build your roadmap to success, all starting with one product, ending up with 3 products that make up a brand, and ending up with the goal of a business worth $1 million.
Cool. Yeah. So I really appreciate that. We got tons of great feedback. So people are loving this. Like Mike said, some of that content is brand new. So Mike, you can probably stop sharing your screen.
Alrighty.
But yeah, so some of that content is 100% brand new. especially when Mike let me fix my camera a little bit, especially when Mike broke down the 3 different levels of products. I mean, this is kind of the new approach that is working like crazy. And we've seen people build businesses into multiple millions of dollars with that exact approach. And the beauty of it is it lets you start with almost any budget in your business. Like if you only have $1,000 for inventory, you start with a less competitive product, like you said, one of the starter products. You can always start higher if you want, or you can just more quickly work your way up in there if you have a higher budget. So that makes this business accessible to almost anyone, no matter what your budget is or the level of risk you want to start with. Mike, you can turn your video off if you want, or keep it on. It's up to you. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. As you can tell, there's a ton of stuff that we've covered so far. But what you may not realize is it's really just the tip of the iceberg. As they say, 90% of the mass of an iceberg is below the surface. That's basically the same thing here. We've showed you a lot of stuff. And honestly, right now in this webinar, it probably wouldn't even make sense to show you anymore because your mind's probably blown away right now and you're trying to digest all the stuff we've covered so far. But the thing is it's only a tiny part of everything that we have to show and offer you when it comes to showing you how to do this business. We've sold millions and millions of dollars, over $200 million in our own businesses. I've helped 35,000 students. We've been doing this for years and years and years, and we still actively run our own e-commerce businesses. So we can absolutely show you every step of this business, but there's only so much we can cover in a webinar like this. Where you're at today is, a lot of us are dealing with a lot of uncertainty in the future. And I get it. It's the holiday season. I get it. Christmas, if you celebrate that, is coming up very soon. And maybe, because of COVID, vaccines are coming out, all that sort of stuff. Things are looking pretty promising. A lot of the political stuff seems to have settled down a little bit. But, I get it. You're probably feeling very uncertain about the future. And it's easy to just want to freeze and wait. But like I said in the beginning, my little hot air balloon story is that we don't know for sure if things are for sure going to settle down and we're going to go to quote unquote normal life again. It could very well go the other way. We don't really know. But so regardless of, if things get worse in the future, or heck, if things get better and you just want the freedom to be able to do what you want to do, the solution is not to just wait and freeze and do nothing. The solution is to start taking control of your future and doing what you can to implement the steps of these businesses, this business, as quickly as possible, so that no matter what happens in the future, you're prepared, you have the financial freedom, you have the financial security, and you've got the ability to live anywhere, do anything you want, support the people that you care about, all those benefits of doing this business. So I ask you right now, what is your plan? What's your plan if things get worse? What's your plan if things get better and you want more freedom? Do you have a plan right now in those possible circumstances? Because right now, I want to give you a possible solution that you should highly consider before we get into the Q&A. We call this program Amazing Selling Machine. And this is what we're calling your blueprint to financial freedom in 2021. Like I said, we've just given you the tip of the iceberg so far. We have a full-blown program that we've been perfecting over 8 going on 9 years of how to do this business from start to finish, even if you have zero experience in business and e-commerce or anything like that whatsoever. This has been the #1 program in how to build an e-commerce business, especially leveraging the power of Amazon, since 2012. This is from one of the live events that we've done in the past, where we had thousands of our members in attendance. Pretty much every single person you're looking at right there is an Amazing Selling Machine member. Whenever the world opens back up, we're able to do big live events like this again. We plan to do more of these, invite all of our members there. But for now, it's a pretty much 100% online program. We have 35,000 students from 138 countries. And this isn't just a Mike and Matt show. That's what separates us from a lot of these people out there that you may be seeing Facebook and Instagram and YouTube ads and that kind of thing, is that it's not just 2 guys that have sold a little bit on Amazon. We have a team of real experts with over 50 people. If you count our internal employees that support all of our members, our external partners who are either supporting the community or we're working with them to develop the training, all that sort of stuff. We have a team of 50 people behind this program to make sure our members succeed. That's what you're getting into. It's not just 2 guys, that are doing some support on the side, creating some videos, trying to stay active. We've got a whole organization that supports this program. So it really gives you a full package that includes step-by-step training. So you know every step to do in the business. You get all the resources you could possibly need, and you get direct support to make sure that you're successful. It's not just videos. It's not just an online membership. You have real people that really know what they're doing, these real experts that you can talk to, ask questions to, and get help along the way. Big part that separates us from everyone else. So the first component of this is what we call the online web class. This is the course component, if you will, of Amazing Selling Machine. Every single step to success is laid out in this online program. We pioneered the way we teach this a long time ago. Anna Silva, I was reading part of her story, and one of the things she mentions when she first tried like a drop shipping business, which has nothing to do with this, she said that, you know, she was just getting access to a bunch of videos and didn't really know what to do with any of it. Whereas our program, Amazing Selling Machine, the online web class, is exactly sequential. You start with video 1, you do those steps. You go to video 2, you do those steps. You go to video 3, you do those steps. You move on to the next module and keep progressing along the way so that by the time you're done with the training, you've built an entire business from start to finish. There's no jumping around to a bunch of different modules or courses or videos. We give you the entire program, start to finish, inside of the online web class. There's 160 lessons in there, over 8 modules, which includes 50 hours of content. That may sound like a lot. That may sound like a good thing to you. It may sound like a bad thing to you. At the end of the day, it's what it takes to get you from I know nothing, I'm from anywhere in the world, to building a successful business. So we include everything you need to help you get started and build the business that changes your life. You can build it step by step, anytime, anywhere. You can do this from a laptop. Probably wouldn't recommend doing it on a phone, but I guess it theoretically is possible. But you can do it whether you're traveling, you can do it on the nights, you can do it on the weekends, you can do it in the mornings. No matter what your family situation is or job situation is, you can do this business. And there have been people before you that are ASM members that have done it in your situation with those restrictions. I mean, like Anna, for example, she was only able to work, a couple hours a day. She was able to make this business work. That's $400,000 a month in sales today. Plus, you get free updates. So this isn't a deal when we come out with a new version of the online web class or the ASM that you have to pay more money. You get free updates because this stuff changes. Amazon changes, the interface changes. I mean, how many times have you used Amazon and it looks slightly different? So whenever that stuff changes, we update the videos, you get access to that. There's no, all of a sudden, 6 months later, your version of ASM is going to be out of date. We don't do that sort of thing. So module 1 of the online web class, we show you how to find your product. Module 2, we show you how to source that product in tons of detail, giving you supplier contact templates, everything you could possibly need. Module 3, we show you how to create your brand as quickly and as easily as possible so you stand out versus everyone else. And module number 4, we help you lay the foundation of the stuff to do before you launch your product. Researching your keywords, setting up the foundations of your Amazon product listing, all those kind of steps you want to do so that when you launch your product, you can make sales as quickly as possible. Module number 5, we cover the launching part of your product. How do you make sales for this product as quickly as possible so you can start bringing in cash and launch more products to eventually achieve financial freedom? Module number 6, we give you the easy Amazon ads formula. Amazon ads are something you cannot ignore. They can get really complicated if you let them. We give you the simplest possible way to use ads to support the growth of your business without losing money. Module 7, scaling your profits. There's a lot of other tools you can use for promotions on Amazon. We show you how to cut through their very complicated interface to know exactly what to do and what to not waste your time with to promote and sell more of your product. Then module number 8, we cover advanced traffic tactics. So by this point, you've got your first product live, it's making sales, you're looking at multiple products. Now, how do you really scale this business into the millions of dollars a year? That's what module 8 is all about. So somebody who's been out there and done this is Devin DeRoche and his wife, Katie DeRoche. And so, not long ago, Devin was bored at his safe job as an accountant. He actually started his career as a CPA working for one of the massive accounting firms. And, his wife, who was his fiance at the time, they were doing some network marketing stuff on the side. It wasn't really working out. And Katie's brother was like, hey, y'all should really take a look at this amazing thing. What he meant was Amazing Selling Machine, what he meant was Amazing Selling Machine. And they said they were just blown away by the simplicity. It wasn't all this complicated network marketing, begging your friends to do stuff kind of approach. So they would watch the modules at night. And then they'd be thinking about their product, thinking about their business during the day while they were holding down their day jobs. And they actually got their product live on their honeymoon and started selling from their hotel room. They were out on their honeymoon. They were like, let's make this business work. They actually started selling their first products on their honeymoon from their hotel room. A couple months later, they were doing about $10,000 a month. In the next full year, they did $450,000. And then Katie was actually able to leave her job at that point and focus on the business full time. A year later, Devin was able to quit his job because their business was doing over $1 million a year, and they were able to both be full time on this. Fast forward a little bit, they've now, in the past 2 years, their business, which is called Grillaholics, which is their brand, you can look it up, you can buy their grilling products on Amazon. Their business does, about $3 million in revenue, which you can kind of see in that little screenshot. And they've actually been on the list of the top 5,000 fastest growing companies, fastest growing private companies in America, put on by Inc. magazine. In 2019, they were actually number 811 on that list. Massive success, relatively short period of time. That's what's possible with this business and with the web class. Second component of ASM is the ASM mentors. At the end of the day, if you're building your business, you don't just need a bunch of videos, whether they're on YouTube or in a course or wherever. You need a full team, because no matter how good we are or somebody else is at creating and laying the steps out for the business, inevitably you're going to have questions. Inevitably, there's going to be unique circumstances that nobody's prepared for that you're going to run into, and you need an answer from somebody who's been there and done that. You need a team behind you to make your business work as fast as possible. Otherwise, you're going to be pulling your hair out trying to figure all this stuff out on your own. So we've built a team of 21 real experts that support our members, and we call these the ASM mentors. And you've probably gotten a lot of answers behind the scenes from Rich Henderson. Rich Henderson is actually our chief mentor, who's sitting there. He's kind of third from the left on this photo. So he leads this team of amazing people who support all of our members. And these are real Amazon sellers. These aren't just kind of like, trained staff members or something. These are real Amazon sellers that have all come from ASM, and that's how they've become mentors. On average, the last time we surveyed them, they've sold on average of $1.8 million in sales in their own Amazon businesses each. So on average, $1.8 million. This is a screenshot from one of our mentors' actual Amazon Seller Centrals account showing $3.4 million in sales. I'm sure he does way more now. This was years ago, but it's the one that we've sort of kept on to. So this is just an example of the caliber of people that will be helping you inside the community. So these people will help you break through obstacles, get the correct answers fast, save a ton of time, avoid a ton of mistakes. And this screenshot is actually one of our mentors, who happens to be Anna Silva, the person I showed you that's doing $400,000 a month in sales, helping out one of our members, one of our ASM members, which will be you hopefully before too long. And so she was out there helping people inside the community. That's the caliber of the people that we call the ASM mentors. Third component of ASM is the private members only community. It takes a lot more than tactics to make any business work. At the end of the day, you're building an online business. You're going to have friends and family members who are not supportive of you. You're going to have people out there that are like, what the heck are you doing? Or at best, you're going to have people who just don't understand. They just don't understand why you're doing it. They don't know how to help you. They don't know how to motivate you. It takes more than just learning the steps. There's a big motivational component and accountability to building any business, especially this business. So we've built a private members community that you get access to as part of Amazing Selling Machine. It's only for ASM members. Like I said, includes 35,000 members. There's from 138 countries. So no matter where you're at in the world, we have members in there who are building businesses from your exact country in all likelihood. There's over 5,000 weekly interactions in there. Two biggest benefits are motivation and accountability. You'll see real people doing this business that have been in your exact same shoes as proof and validation that you're on the right path. And so you'll hear their stories, you'll see about them, you'll be able to post and tell people that you're part of ASM now. They're going to keep track and make sure that you keep going and keep achieving your financial dreams. You'll also pick up new strategies and tactics in there that you may not have seen anywhere else. So this private community, you'll see a lot of that stuff going on because it's a very active community. So you'll be able to pick up new tips and tricks that you can apply to your business. Fourth component is the private resource vault, which includes $10,000 in proven resources that we've used in our own businesses These are things like freight forwarders, photographers, videographers, software tools, all kinds of stuff that we've used to build our own e-commerce businesses. We've put them all inside of the private resource vault, and in most cases, negotiated crazy deals that nobody else can get. There's 61 resources in there, and the main benefits are that you're going to save a ton of time, money, and stress. Because you can go out there and say it's time to get your products from China or any other country over to Amazon. You're like, okay, I need what's called a freight forwarder. I've learned that in the training. Who the heck do I use? You can go out there and figure that out on your own, and they may be poor quality, they may take forever, they may be more expensive, or you can jump into the private resource vault, bam, pull down the location of freight forwarders, contact the first person you see, and you know you're going to be getting a proven resource that has been used by actual ASM members, and in a lot of cases by our own businesses. Fifth component is the ASM software suite. So there's a lot of power in the being able to use all the data that's out there on Amazon, off Amazon, to make good business decisions. The problem is if you start getting into that stuff, it's really easy to be overwhelmed as well. There's a couple billion different product listings on Amazon. There are hundreds of millions of people out there searching for stuff. There's millions of keywords you can use. What the heck do you do with all this stuff? So we've built some software tools to make your life way easier. So we're going to give you all the strategies and tactics inside the web class. This is going to make using all that stuff a heck of a lot easier and faster. So first thing is the product opportunity finder. This is an upgraded version that's exclusive to ASM of what Mike showed you in his training. So this allows you to find products on Amazon that are the best opportunities to sell, because you can quickly run filters. You can see their accurate sales data, which isn't available by Amazon publicly. And so this makes finding your opportunities way easier. Then we go a step further with a second tool, which is a product analyzer, which allows you to put in, a handful of your top product opportunities that you found, and it'll literally tell you which is the best one to get started, using a lot of data that's proprietary to us and stuff that would be next to impossible to figure out on your own. And so this tool literally just spits out the answer of like, hey, start with this product. That's the power of this. The third tool is the perfect keyword tool. So like I said, there's millions of keywords you can target. There's thousands you can target for any product. How do you pick which one to start with? How do you pick which one goes in your title? How do you pick which ones go in your back-end search terms or anywhere else on your listing? Or which ones do you target with Amazon sponsored ads, which is the paid advertising side of Amazon? This tool is the answer. It literally tells you the answer to which keywords are most important, most relevant, highest sales volume, lowest competition for the products you're going to sell. You get exclusive access to this as a member of ASM. The fourth and final tool is what we call a rapid product launcher. So this basically uses rebates, which has been around for 100 years in retail, but takes it into the 21st century and makes it immediately available for you as an ASM member and Amazon seller. And so this tool allows you to access thousands of buyers who will literally go out there and buy your product, which helps you rank for keywords on Amazon. And incredibly powerful. You don't have to go out there and beg friends and family or run Facebook ads or any of that kind of stuff. This is a tool that you get access to as a member of ASM to help making sales and launching your product way simpler. The sixth and final component of Amazing Selling Machine is what we call results coaching. I pay $7,200 a year for a coach, but I've been doing business on my own for 11 years now, I think going on 12 years. And I've, sold hundreds of millions of dollars online. I've helped tens of thousands of people be successful, all that kind of stuff. By all means, you'd be like, why does this guy need a coach? Because I'm trying to get to the next level. But more importantly, it's for the accountability. If I say, hey, I'm trying to build my business this way. Hey, I'm trying to achieve this goal. I'm trying to develop myself personally in these areas. I need somebody holding me accountable. Otherwise, it's just me in my home office with nobody to say, hey, did you actually do that thing you said you were going to do? When things get tough, did you push through that obstacle? That's the value of what we call results coaching. So you actually get an expert in ASM to hold you accountable. So they'll do an onboarding call with you plus weekly check-ins to make sure you're on pace to achieve the goals that you wanted to achieve with ASM. This has been a complete game changer. The level of success achieved by people who have been using results coaching is off the charts. And so we've built this team of people internally to support all of our members to provide that level of accountability and also clarity. If there's any question you have about, hey, where's this in ASM? Or what do I do here? I can't log into this. Or I'm having an issue with this. That's what they're there for. It's almost like a personalized coach for you as an ASM member. So at the end of the day, it should lead to bigger, faster, and much easier success. So to recap everything that's included, you get the online web class, the ASM mentor access, the community access, the private resource vault, the software suite, and results coaching. But what's really at stake here? So the numbers Mike gave are pretty close to what I'm about to show you, just 10 units a day off basically, but the numbers are pretty much the same. So if you have 3 products selling 30 a day, that's $1 million business. You can review all the numbers that Mike gave you, but it's basically the same exact thing. 3 products selling 30 units a day at the average profit margins and price and everything that we know is $1 million business. It's actually worth $1 million. Now, what if you only sold 10 a day of 3 products? That's $6,000 to $7,000 a month in profit if you back out all the numbers, assuming like a 25% profit margin. Not going to go through all these numbers with you, but just as an example, $6,000 to $7,000 a month in profit. Just selling 10 units a day of 3 products. Ask yourself, would $6,000 every month give you more freedom than you have now? If you had this coming in like clockwork from a business that didn't depend on a job, a location, a boss, you clocking into an office or online, either way, would that give you more freedom? We've helped so many people. We can only go into so many stories. Otherwise, this webinar would be 15 hours long. But these are all real screenshots from our community and from our members' actual businesses. This is $500,000 a month. This is another community post from $16,000 in 30 days. This is Jamie, his family was celebrating with him, hitting $1 million in sales in a 30-day period. They have literally a big 1M balloons. And that's him and his daughter sitting there. And so this is another community post, and they just keep flying up. We're just going to go through these. You don't have time to go through all these, but this is an idea of just a tiny portion of all the success of our members. Like I said, we could show these to you all day long. We could talk about the amazing stories from our community. But at the end of the day, all I'm trying to show you, we've been doing this for a long time. A lot of people that have been in your shoes have been extremely successful, and there's no reason you can't either. So total value of all of this stuff, we've added it all up, and what would it take if we were to piecemeal all this together and sell it all separately? About $20,000. Your investment to join ASM is not $20,000. The normal price is only $4,997. This is just a one-time fee. It's not recurring. You don't have to keep paying anything like that. It's basically a lifetime membership access fee. You get free updates to the training, all that good stuff. And we also have a payment plan available if you need one. However, you're in a very special time right now because we're running an end of 2020 promotion. So our normal guarantee that's unconditional is 30 days. You can join, you can check out the modules, you can check everything out. You can talk with the mentors, you can look at the community, you can check out some of the software tools, and you have 30 days to decide if it's for you or not. And if not, you can basically just send us an email, support@amazing.com, or within your membership access, and we'll give you a 100% refund. However, we wanted to do something special for the end of the year for a couple of reasons. It's the holidays. We know if you're like us, we spend a ton of money on Christmas presents and everything else like that. And it's kind of like, oh, when is this going to end? And then not to mention our anniversary and my wife's birthday is all the same time of the year. But that's one reason, is we know it's just a time when everyone's spending a bunch of money, not necessarily buying training. However, also because of COVID, there's a lot of uncertainty about what's happening next in the year. So we have basically done something special that I don't think we've ever done before, which is we've doubled our normal guarantee period. So rather than 30 days, it's now 60 days, which gives you plenty of time to check out the program. So you now have double the length of the normal guarantee, and this is going away soon. This is not always available. There was one tiny little caveat, is that you can watch through module 4, which is basically takes you all the way to getting ready to launch your product, risk-free for 60 days. If you want to go beyond that, you basically have to void the 60-day guarantee. The only reason we do that is because we don't want people that are just trying to go through the training and then either not take any action or try to rip it off, download all the videos, all that kind of stuff. That's the only thing we're trying to avoid. In reality, you're not going to need anything beyond module 4 by the end of the first 2 months, because you're going to be sitting there getting your product live, preparing it for launch, ordering for inventory, building your brand, all that kind of stuff, which takes about exactly 2 months from the day you start, and if you even hustle. And so you're not going to need anything beyond that, but that just kind of protects us a little bit. Otherwise, you can check out the whole first, basically half of the entire program and use all the other stuff in there for 60 days, 100% risk-free. So that's the first thing you get as part of this end of the year promotion. We're also including what we call the 2021 Success Agreement. So we know you can't build a whole business in 60 days. And in all likelihood, you won't even have your product live at the end of 60 days. And maybe right after that, or maybe at most, maybe a month later or so. So what if you want to go out there and build this business doing all the steps that we tell you? And what happens if it's not successful? What if you fail? Well, we want to basically cover that potential risk all the way until the end of 2021. You just have to meet a few basic requirements. You got to get your product live following the ASM training. In about the first 4 months, you have to do all the marketing steps in the first 5 months. Very reasonable, very achievable, just to kind of make sure you're actually taking action. And as long as you do those, you have all the way until the end of next year to ask for a refund on ASM. We'll give you a 100% refund on ASM. We'll even buy back up to $5,000 in unsold inventory from you. This crazy guarantee we offer because we know how much at stake for you to give this business a try. We know your entire life can transform. And so we want you to do anything possible to at least give this a try. And as long as you do that, we will completely cover you. So this guarantee is not normally available. And when we've done it in the past, it's only been 6 months. Right now, this is over 12 months, so over twice the length. That's how serious we are about this. That's how much we want to remove the risk from your plate to give this a try. So that's the second thing you get is a 2021 Success Agreement. We're also doing a free private product review. So when you come up with your list of products, when you get that narrowed down into about 3, one of our expert mentors will actually review your products chosen and tell you which product they launch if they were in your shoes. Incredibly valuable. This kind of thing alone, easily worth about $1,000 to have somebody of that caliber do that. So that's the third thing you get. Also right now, this may sound crazy, we're giving up to $2,000 in free inventory. So as long as you follow all the steps in the training, we will basically pay you up to $2,000 to launch your first product. You send us an invoice and we will reimburse you up to $2,000. Now, the thing is that we have a couple different tiers here. The first one is $2,000. The problem is there's only 30 spots left. After that, we only are doing $1,500 and $1,000 depending on how many people sign up. But the largest tier is only 30 spots left of this because we've already been offering this to a few people. So there's only 30 spots left at this tier to get $2,000 in free inventory. So that's the fourth thing that you get. This all ends on Tuesday, December 22nd, 2020 at 11:59 p.m. Pacific. So we're doing this on Sunday. So in a couple of days, this is basically completely off the table because this is the end of 2020 promotion. However, we do have one more thing. So full value, like I said, is about $20,000. The public price is $49.97. We wanted to do something special right now because we know it's the holiday times. We want to do something special for this webinar. So rather than you having to pay $49.97 one time, which we think is a incredible deal, you can instead get access to everything we've talked about for $1,000 less, only $39.97. And once again, we have a payment plan that basically chops off $1,000 off the payment plan. And so you can instead save $1,000 on your access to ASM when you sign up from this webinar. One payment, you get lifetime access. There's not multiple fees. There's no fee down the road, none of that sort of stuff. So you're also getting $1,000 off as part of this end of the year promotion. This once again expires Tuesday, December 22nd, 2020 at 11:59 p.m. Pacific. If you're uncertain about this, if you want to think about it, I highly recommend when we send out a replay, which hopefully we'll get out today, but if at the latest tomorrow, when we send out that replay, watch this with your family. I know a lot of people are sitting here right now hanging out with your family. Maybe you're went to visit them or they're visiting you or any of that kind of stuff. Or maybe you have a husband or wife or boyfriend or girlfriend or something at your home. Watch the replay with them. See what they think. See if they think that this makes sense. If this is something you all want to try. If they're happy with our guarantees that we've offered and the reasons why you should sign up now. But this does expire Tuesday, December 22nd. Couple of days from now. After that, it is gone. We do have one last thing. We're calling this the action taker bonus. Then we're going to get into the Q&A. We wanted to throw in everything we possibly could to get you to make a move, take action, and join ASM before the end of the year is up. So we're also going to offer you a one-on-one, 1-hour private coaching session with either Mike or I. This isn't somebody else. This isn't the mentors. This is Mike or me. We're basically going to split these up. So we're going to offer a 1-hour one-on-one private coaching session with one of us. However, as you can imagine, because we're doing trainings like this, we're building our own e-commerce businesses, we're running amazing, we only can do this for 20 people. So only 20 spots. These will likely be gone before this webinar is over with. These are not available till Tuesday. This is really just for the next 20 people that see this. And so for the next 20 people, you can get a one-on-one 1-hour private coaching session with one of us. So to recap, before we get into the Q&A, here's what we covered. Planning your roadmap, choosing your first product, sourcing it, launching it, scaling your brand, why you must act now. Not just because we have all this crazy stuff thrown into ASM to get you to sign up today, but we also, because of where the world's at. The e-commerce is growing like crazy. People are shopping from home. You don't know what's going to happen in the future with your job, financial security. Could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. Could be good because the whole world opens back up and you just want to say, hey, screw it, I'm going to Thailand for a month. You want to be able to do that. Go on vacation with your family. Or if things get worse, you want to be able to say, hey, I'm good. It doesn't matter if my business lays me off or something like that. I've got this thing on the side. It's working for me. I'm way more financially secure. So that's the main reasons why you want to act now, in addition to all the stuff that we've thrown into ASM. And we've talked about the opportunity to join us in ASM to create your success. At the end of the day, after a lot of thinking about this for 12 years of doing business and probably some time before that, before I even started in business, is I believe freedom is the ability to choose. We struggled with this for a long time. Is it lifestyle freedom, financial freedom? I think it's the ability to choose. You can choose whether you work for somebody else. You can choose what school your daughter or son goes to. You can choose how you spend your time, your money, your vacation, what you buy, what you don't buy, where you live, all that kind of stuff, how you take care of parents as they get older. You get to choose all that stuff when you have financial freedom. And that's really what we're talking about here, giving you the ability to choose the next step in your life. And that's what's possible when your financial situation is taken care of, especially when it's not dependent on a job. That's what we're talking about here. So would love for you to become a member today. You get access to the full $20,000 program, included all the components we've talked about. It also includes the end of 2020 promotion. We're going to leave this slide up so you can see it. If you want to be one of the first to get one of these one-on-one coaching sessions with us before they're gone, also the up to $2,000 in free inventory, which is only 30 spots available left at that level. To get all of this crazy stuff, you got to move fast. So you can grab your spot here now at asmnow.com/million. Type that into your browser. Assuming everything works fine, you'll be able to pull that up and you'll see a secure registration form. We use a shopping cart called SamCart. So you'll see that in the URL. And so on that, you can read all the stuff that we talked about, but at the end of the day, it's the same stuff we've just covered. And then fill it out, enter your information, and that'll sign you up for ASM. It'll process your payment. You can choose the 2 different payment options. You can either pay upfront with $1,000 off, or you can pay what's normally 6 times $997, 6 monthly payments of $997. Instead, we've just chopped off the last payment for this promotion. So you're basically saving almost $1,000 on that too. Choose whichever payment option you want. The upfront one saves you some money, and then join, and that'll get you access to Amazing Selling Machine. You'll see me on a thank you page welcoming you to ASM. You'll get an email that says, hey, here's all your ASM details. You can log in, start going through it whenever it's convenient for you. So would love to see you inside of there. You get access to all this stuff on the screen. Now we're going to get into some questions, but type that URL into your browser, asmnow.com/million, before some of these bonuses are off the table.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. We've been answering a ton of questions in the background. And I'll tell you what, while Matt takes a drink here, I'm going to start answering some of these. By the way, we try to get as many as possible. We have hundreds, so let's start getting into them. Durunzia is asking, what if you already have a product and a brand name? Can this system help you out? The answer is absolutely yes. So even though we try to guide you on how to pick the absolute right product, how to build your brand, we've seen countless people who have been able to take ASM's training and everything we teach you on how to find the right keywords and advertise, and then take an existing product and make it sell much better. We just had someone this holiday season, as a matter of fact, they had started selling earlier in the year before ASM. They joined ASM, and then they had already gotten up to $65,000 a month in sales just by taking their existing product and implementing everything ASM teaches you. That's not to say that any product we can do that for. Don't want to mislead you in that. But we do know that the strategies we teach you on how to make sure your listing looks as good as possible, converts as good as possible, is found as easily as possible with all the right keywords. As long as you have a good product that's in demand, yes, what you learn at ASM should help you grow your sales already, Dorinzia. So good question.
All right, Mike, I can jump in here and start taking care of some of these with you. Rich, by the way, he's been marketing behind the scenes. We're going to answer this question live. And so whenever we do that, if you catch one of the questions we answer live, Rich, if you can press the done button, because that'll clear him out of our section, because we don't actually have that button because you're the one who marked him as answering him live. So cool. So as Stephanie says, can you share the downside to selling on Amazon? That way one can make a sound decision. Has a two-part question, so I'll answer that one first. So can you share the downside of selling on Amazon? The main downside, I would say, is you give up a little bit of control, because at the end of the day, it's their platform. So you can't do anything and everything that you want. And so you kind of got to play by their rules, which is a big part of what we teach inside of ASM. And so you've got to you use their platform for all the advantages while making sure that you're not sort of blindsided by some of the disadvantages. So for example, some people, they do crazy things like writing fake reviews of their products and stuff. Like, you can't do that kind of thing. Like, maybe you can get away with it on your own website, even though it's not ethical. On Amazon, you can get in serious trouble for that. So that's the kind of thing that you can't just do because it's their platform. So I would say that's the main downside. Their fees are potentially another one. Costs about 15% of each sale to sell on Amazon. But in my opinion, some people think, oh, that's crazy. I think that's extremely realistic, because if you were to go out there and try to get those same sales on your own website, you would pay way more than 15% in advertising or however else you're getting people. So those are kind of the two main ones. But at the end of the day, you own the brand. You can decide wherever you sell it. You start selling on an Amazon, which is our recommendation. Later on, you can sell it other places. Your own website, you could sell it on other platforms internationally. So that's kind of all up to you. It's just you own the brand. You're using Amazon to get it off the ground. So second part of Stephanie's question, what about liability insurance? So we get this question a lot. Most people we know doing this business do not have product liability insurance. Maybe that's not a good decision, but in the 12 years, plus of doing e-commerce stuff, and since 2012, how many years ago that is now, of teaching this stuff, I have never heard of anybody having a product liability insurance need. Doesn't mean that's the right decision. You may get a different advice from an attorney, but that has been our experience, for better or worse. So hopefully that helps.
All right. Brianna asks, I live in Canada. Does the ASM program still apply to Canadian Amazon? So first off, if you live in Canada, we still recommend that you start selling on Amazon.com in the US. We monitor which different platforms or which marketplaces are the easiest for our members to get launched in. There used to be a time where we told people to start selling in the UK or in Europe if you live over there. Over the past couple of years, watching our members succeed and which ones may have had a harder time getting going, we now recommend starting off on Amazon.com is the easiest and best place to go, regardless of where you live. So once you start selling on Amazon.com, once you build your brand, then yes, absolutely, everything you learn can be applied to Amazon Canada, Amazon Mexico, Amazon Germany.de, all those marketplaces. Everything you're learning will apply there. We just want to make sure you start off where it's easiest for you. Everything that we teach you is about getting going as fast as possible, as low risk as possible, and as low cost as possible. And so that's why we want you to start Amazon.com. Once you've built your brand, you want to expand later on, use what you've learned, expand to your home country, and then maybe even other countries. Germany is really blowing up. It's turning into a great marketplace. So that would probably be the second, maybe third place I would launch after you start on Amazon.com.
So we got two questions here that are pretty similar. So one is from Fenny and the other one's from Raul. So Raul's question is shorter. It says, how much to get started? Fenny's question is what's a good figure to start off with this business, including product sourcing, branding, ads, and everything else? Just a ballpark figure would be great. In our experience, a few $1,000s in terms of all the stuff that you mentioned is about what we see that makes the most sense. So if you can spend a few $1,000s, $2,000 to $3,000 in inventory, ads, product packaging, shipping, freight forwarding. That's kind of all wrapped into that. That's enough to get this business off the ground. Some people spend a little bit more if they want to move a little bit faster, but that's part of the beauty of the structure that Mike showed you with the starter, growth, and dream products, is you don't have to go after some high volume competitive product. I mean, that's the main piece of your initial investment is inventory. And it's not like it's just an expense that's going away and you're never going to see again. You're buying something so you can resell it at a higher price. And so you're investing in something, just like if you were to buy a stock or a house or something. So you should be able to resell it at a better price. And so with that structure, is you can start with a lot less money and still eventually get to any financial goal that you want. But a few $1,000s is typically what we recommend people start with. You can start with less. People have started with less. It's just going to really limit your options.
Justine is asking, why or why wouldn't you recommend launching more than one item off the bat if you can afford it? Well, I mean, again, kind of what I talked about before. We want you to going as fast as possible with as low risk as possible, with the least amount of capital as possible. Those kind of play into this question as well. When you're starting this business, even though you have all of our support behind you, until you make your first sale, it's kind of hard to wrap your mind around how real this is. We see it happen time and time again, that you work all this time finding the product, building the brand, getting your listing created, executing a launch. And until you see that email from Amazon, you made your first sale, it doesn't quite seem real. So what we want to do is make sure you get there as quickly as possible with as low risk as possible so that you're certain that you found the right product and you understand the platform and the system that you're learning from us. That's why we recommend starting with just one product. People still make mistakes. It still happens. You have our coaching behind you. You have everything that we're going to give you behind you. But that way, in case you decide you don't want to get into that brand, let's imagine that you took what I taught today and thought you wanted to get into hiking or camping. If you already went ahead and launched 3 products, you would have a lot of capital tied up into all 3 of those products, and you would be stuck with that brand. If you go ahead and start out with one product, very conservative, like we're talking about, you can first try it out, make sure you really like that product, make sure you like your supplier, make sure you like that brand. And then that way, once it's selling, once it's the right one, quickly go into your second, third product. Keep in mind, even though we're recommending you start with one product and not all 3, if you want to, you can. We can't stop you by any means. We know some people have done that. We just know from experience, it's better to start with one. And what I would do is, while you are getting ready to launch your first product, let's imagine there's time that it's being manufactured, there's time that it's being shipped to you. Take some time, start thinking about your second and third product as far as like what you want them to look like, what kind of packaging. You can start working on your second and third products, like as far as some of the listing details and things like that. That way, when it is time to launch second and third, it's much faster. You don't have to wait a whole nother 6 months. It should only be a couple months just to get it manufactured and shipped. So second, third, every product after is that much faster. We just want to limit your risk and make sure that you have a brand and a product that you're really thrilled with before going on to products 2, 3, 5, and 10.
All right. So I was asking Rich if he'd be able to come on to answer a question, because Rich, for all of you all don't know, is from the UK. And so he is our resident UK setup selling on Amazon expert, among other things. So Rich, we got a question here from Jay that you flagged. Hey there, may I know what's required to sell from the UK in the US? Is it easy to open an account there? I can't use utility bills as those are already on my name. I have my 2 names on it. I can use a bank statement as proof of address. Can you give Jay some guidance here?
Yeah, it is. It's pretty straightforward. The only tricky bit there is going to be your utility bill, but you should be able to get by using any kind of bill whatsoever, as long as it's got your address on it. Normally what they'll take is, if you've got, for instance, if you give them extra, so you give them your passport, your driving license, and then give them a bank statement and or credit card statement. Normally in the UK, that'll be enough. Utility bills do work better. It might take you a little bit longer to get it done. But like, I don't know if you're thinking of joining ASM, we actually have a mentor who does that exact thing. He basically helps everyone who's got any kind of issues with Seller Central to get it set up. So, and that's one-to-one. He helps people one-to-one. So you shouldn't have any issues. You should be fine even without a utility bill. But looking at everything else you've said there, you should be fine.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Rich. So we have one here from Zachary that says, why would you sell a business doing $1 million a year? What's the advantages of doing so? Good question. So it's really like the way I've seen it, it's kind of made sense for my own life, I guess, but for some of our members also that have built businesses with ASM and sold them for millions of dollars, there's a big advantage to taking some chips off the table. So like maybe you have a business that's producing really good cash flow. At the end of the day, it's still a small business. Even massive businesses that we've seen with COVID, even massive businesses are still at risk. But imagine like an even smaller business have the same sort of things. You never know what could really happen. So you may be super successful, maybe very consistent, but if you can go and set aside $1 million, $2 million, so that like as long as you live very conservatively, if you have $1 million or $2 million, you shouldn't really need to work for the rest of your life. You can literally just live off of interest and dividends from your investments. Now, if you want to spend more money and all that kind of stuff, maybe you need some more money. But there's that reason. What we found, a lot of our members will sell their business for $1 million, $2 million, because maybe it's like they just want to take that money and put it in their account and move on to other things. Or in most cases, they take that money, put it in their account, they set aside a good chunk for themselves and their families, then they take another chunk of that and invest it and do an even bigger business the next time because they love it. It's like, it's not just like a job. Like it becomes like, oh man, I'm really good at this. Because they've been through the whole process and they're like, I want to do this again and again and again because I can just keep making more money. We've got one couple that I don't know if you all watched all the videos that we've put out, but that couple, David and Leah Cups, I don't know, they've sold like 3 or 4 businesses now, and now they're going after an even bigger one, and they just keep doing it because they love doing it. It's so there's a lot of value in taking some money and setting it aside, even though if you were to ask somebody like a Warren Buffett, who I feel like I mentioned 100 times on these webinars, if you were to ask him, he would probably say, keep the business and, because it's what you know best, but that's the purely rational financial advice versus like the peace of mind you get from having a chunk of money in the account. That's a lot more harder for something to happen for it to go away.
All right, so Sadie Robinson is asking, what if your product does not take off after 6 months? Do you continue with that product or go to the next product? You may have covered that and I missed it if you did. No, Sadie, we did not cover it. It's a good question. First, the great thing is, because you're joining today when we have the 2021 success agreement, if you have a product that doesn't take off, we got you covered. That's why, that's why you're on the call today. That's why we're doing this end of year special, that as long as you follow the steps that you're learning inside of ASM, you're finding your product, finding your supplier, creating your listing, launching it, all within, the time frame we have set aside for that. If something happens where it doesn't take off the way you want it to, or let's say it does take off and you just realize you don't like the business, you can take us up on the ASM 2021 success promise, which means we will not only refund you for ASM, but also refund you or pay you back for any inventory that you did not sell. So first off, if that happens, as long as you're following the program, we have you covered. Secondly, if that happens and you still want to go forward with the business, which let's face it, no product will always, there's nothing that will guarantee that every single product will take off 100% of the time, no matter what rules or, competition you're looking at or what brand you come up with or what criteria you use. There's no guarantee 100% of them will take off. However, we have in ASM, and we've seen it, we have people experience, there are ways that you can liquidate your inventory in order to at least get your cost back, so that if you decide that either it's not the right product for you, it's not taking off, maybe it's not making enough profit, maybe it's just not as profitable as you wanted it to be, then what you could do, liquidate that product, get your cash back, and then move on to the next product. That's what I would do. First off, though, is the first thing is when you get to that point, check with the community. That's why you have 30,000, so many people in our community, 20 plus mentors, Matt and I, Rich, Dan, the other co-creator, we're all there because if you're having an issue with a product, post in the community. We'll help troubleshoot it. Maybe the product is great, it's just your listing needs some tweaks. Maybe your listing is great, you just need to target the right keywords. Maybe your keywords are the right ones, you just need to focus the right way in your launch on how to focus on those and how many rebates to give away. All those things could be affecting it. We walk you through every step of that inside ASM, but if something happens and you want to double check that, that's why you have the community, that's why you have us. Let us help you figure that out. And then we can also guide you on what to do. We'll tell you, yes, this is a great product. You just missed a couple of key things. Or no, this product's not the right one. Maybe it's gotten, it's just no longer as popular as it used to be. And then we'll guide you as to how to get rid of it and also what the next product is to start with. So either way, either scenario, we got you covered, and you can find the answers inside of ASM. Is this program, it's similar to one answer already, is this program really just for new people? I'm someone who's been selling for a while and really just want to hop on a call with you guys. So I mentioned a similar one before. This by no means is just for new people. So if you're an existing seller, we have all kinds of strategies that we can help you with to either make sure your products sell successfully, what you're already selling, or to tell you, quite honestly, have looked at the product you found on your own the past year or 2 years, tell you that it just doesn't meet our criteria for being a profitable product. You may not like that answer, but I don't know about you. I would rather know now, sooner rather than later, if a business that I was running and trying to make work, there's a reason why it's not taking off for me. We'll tell you that. We'll look at the product.
Do you have to have a brand set up first? And is that just a name and a trademark / logo? So we kind of walk you through that whole process in ASM. It kind of depends what you're asking. So maybe you're asking, like, you think a brand is like a company name, which doesn't have to have anything to do with your brand. When we're talking about a brand, it's basically a unique name that you've come up with, that, because we kind of walk you through how to check to make sure nobody's trademarked it and nobody else is using it. So it's a unique name that you've come up with that later on you can get a trademark. It costs a little bit of money. Later on, you'll eventually want one, but we don't recommend getting that like on day one, because it's just going to cost you more money. So we try to keep your risk as low as possible. Myself and brands that I've sold, I've waited to get trademarks because I don't want to spend the extra money at first until I know sales are actually coming in. So we basically show you how to pick a brand name. You're typically going to buy a domain name, which will cost you, $10 a year to buy a domain name. And then you'll have a unique brand name that you can use to put on your product. So you will do that part, but you don't have to do anything else. You don't have to have a company set up in the name of the brand. You don't have to get a trademark at first. So yeah, you're creating a brand, but hopefully that clarifies things a little bit.
All righty. So here's another question we got. How do I find a product that isn't already out there and actively marketed by lots of other sellers and will still sell and make money? What I showed you today is kind of the tip of the iceberg of our product selection process. Rich Henderson, again, who's on right now, goes through in depth and minute detail all the different steps that you can follow to find hundreds, if not thousands, of products out there to sell. The way to think of it is, it's not like you will log in and you'll see a list of 5 products and everyone chooses those products. We're going to show you how to find your own products. And this list of products on Amazon, because it's based upon products currently selling on Amazon, how well they're selling, the prices they're selling, the reviews they have, it's a dynamic list. It's going to change over time. So some products will kind of flow off the list as they become too competitive. Some will get added to the list as they become more popular and the numbers start looking better. So when you join and when you start, you'll start your own journey going down the search, all the different categories on Amazon. You'll still want to think through things like what we talked about. What do you like doing? What interests do you have? Start there. Then you have hundreds and thousands of products to look through. Chances are highly unlikely that everyone's going to pick the same product because everyone has different interests and people do searches at different times, different ways. When I did a search for baby accessories versus baby gear, almost completely, probably 80% of the products that show up are different. Amazon just shows so many different products. Again, 350 million up to 3 billion, depending on what number you're looking at. That's how many products are on Amazon. So there are lots of different products to go out there and look for so that you don't have to worry about everyone else selling the exact same product. And if someone else sells a similar product, don't stress about that. I know people that sell products in the niches that I'm in, and the way that Amazon works, there's not just the top 1 list on Amazon. If you look at their best sellers, they give you the top 100 list. The BSR, the best sellers rank for product, goes into the thousands, the tens of thousands. There's a reason why Amazon tells you the ranking of popularity of products, because people don't always just want the very first product that shows up. They don't just want the number 1 top seller. Because the number 1 top seller might just be selling that way because of price. It might just be selling that way because of the color. People want to look at the products. They want to search through all the products on Amazon, find the one that's right for them, and then that's the product that they're going to purchase. If everyone bought the same product, Amazon would have one top product in every category, and that's it. They have hundreds and thousands of products in every category because that's just the way it works. You can be the number 2,000 seller in camping gear and still be making tens of thousands of dollars in sales a month.
Alrighty, so Dawn is asking, how do I find a product that isn't already out there and actively marketed by lots of other sellers and will sell/make money? So
That's the one I just
question.
answered, by the way, Matt.
Oh, you just answered that one?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was trying to pull these things from the questions. Sonia, if you want to mark that one as done, that would be helpful. Okay, next question. Ram says, approximately what percentage of students that you've taught made little to no money? And were there any particular drivers behind that that we can learn from and avoid? It's really hard to give numbers on this stuff. And I'm not saying that just kind of like skirt the question. It's because, a lot of times people don't report this stuff to us. And so we've offered this, 30-day guarantee in the past, which now is a 60-day, at least until the next couple of days. And so a lot of people, believe it or not, they'll not refund and not really ever start the training. It's crazy. It's like people join and maybe they watch a few videos or a couple modules and like, maybe I'll do it later. And they never pick it back up. We see that far more often than we like, even though we try to do everything we possibly can to keep that from happening. But I think sometimes people just get scared, they get afraid, get cold feet, or just, it's just natural procrastination, I guess. And like, they think they're going to do it later. And maybe it takes we've had people that have come back a year plus later, pick it up and be successful. So it's really hard to give specific numbers on that, which is why we throw all this guarantee stuff. So you're not really dependent on that. But of the people I have seen that have not been successful, the things that I've noticed are a couple things. It's like, one is not doing the work. It's really hard to be successful if you don't actually do the work, which maybe sound obvious, but it is what it is. If you want to build a successful business in ASM anyways, you got to watch the training. You got to do the steps. You got to reach out if you have problems or have questions, because we're here for you. Attend the coaching calls, which I didn't mention. We also do live group coaching calls for everyone. Attend those things. And as long as you do that and you let us know if you have a problem so we can help you get through it, then there's no reason why you can't be successful. Where people fail is they either don't watch the videos, they don't take the actions, or they just give up at the first sign of trouble. All those kind of things are going to lead to failure. And so they may sound super obvious. You're like, oh, that's never going to be me. It's more people than we would like. And so those are some big reasons. Now, for the people who actually push beyond that, what I've seen, like one of the more tactical issues that I see is that right now it may seem like a product is a means to an end. A product is like, I'm going to get a product live so I can start making some money. When you start creating a brand and researching products and ordering samples and touching and feeling them, and now you have this cool product that's got your brand name on there, it's a really cool thing. You go out there and you now have your own cell phone case, for example, that has your own personal logo and branding on there. Like, that's a cool thing. The problem is people get so excited about that. As soon as their first product's live, they want to start launching more products. It's like, whoa. You get your first product live, you've only done the first half of the business. The second half is to do all the marketing steps we teach you so that your product actually makes money. It's not just a cool product sitting there, it's some cool thing that you did one time, which is still a great accomplishment, but that's not the reason you got into this. And so people go out there and they start looking for more products before they've even fully launched and are producing consistent sales with their first product. That's probably the number one, or at least top three things that I see. And we can go into a bunch of other kind of smaller things, but those are some of the main things I've seen anyways.
Ikram is asking, do we have to go through all the modules in ASM in order to start searching for the product, or can we go step by step with the course? Absolutely, without a doubt, step by step, Ikram. The entire ASM training is built so that every bit along the way, not just in each module, but in each video lesson, you're taking action. So you'll get right in and start setting up your account. You'll get in, start searching for products. You'll get in, start searching for suppliers, following all the lessons. You will be searching for products already in the first module number 1. So yeah, you don't wait till the end. We want you to not only be learning how to build a business, we want you to be building a business while you're taking and going through ASM. The goal is by the time that you are done with all the modules, you have a business built. You just don't have a brain full of education and training. You actually been building your business the entire way. It's the way that Matt taught me many years ago. It's the way that we've taught everyone since then. And it's the way that's worked for all of our most successful students, building it while you're actually taking the training.
Cool. So this is a good question. So Srinivas says, when I search for a product, most likely I buy a product that appears on the first page on Amazon, and I believe most people do the same, which is true. If you're looking for, I keep using this cell phone case, so I'm going to do something different. So if I'm looking for a Christmas candle, if I want a Christmas candle on Amazon, I'm going to type in Christmas candle and buy whatever I see that seems to have a pretty good price, pretty good quality, pretty good reviews, depending on kind of what I'm looking for. Is that what most people do? Yes. So how is your product as an Amazon seller, as an ASM member, going to appear on that first page? Mike walk you through kind of the high level overview of how that stuff works. We go into a ton of detail inside of ASM. And so in a nutshell, you're basically optimizing your product listing for those keywords, and choosing the right keywords is incredibly important, which is why we go through a lot of that in ASM. We also have software tools for it. And so choosing the right keyword is very important, because you want high sales volume, but the low competition. And so it takes a lot of data to figure that out. But once you're targeting the right keyword, you put it in different places in your listing, and you run some special launch strategies that we teach that'll get your product to rank higher for keywords. And your ability for that product to stick there is going to be dependent on some of the steps you do before then, in part, which is really optimizing your listing well, including the right keywords, including the right sales copy, good images, good description, all that kind of stuff, and later on building reviews. But this is all stuff we walk you through in ASM. But in a nutshell, that's how it works, because Amazon decides what to place for what keywords, mainly based on when people search for that keywords, what do they buy? If they find that somebody's buying, that a lot of people are buying this specific product when they search for Christmas candle, they're going to push that product higher up in the rankings. So you want to make sure your product is bought more than your competitors when somebody searches for that keyword, if you want to rank higher for it. And that's kind of what the whole game is about.
All right, Greg has a good question here. As our business grows, will the ASM software tools such as MBS be all that we need, or will there be other software apps, etc.? We do our very best job to give you every single thing you need to build your business. The training, the community, the mentors, the coaching now with Matt and I, and all the software tools are a part of that as well. So we're going to give you MBS for a full year. I know Matt's already covered this as well, but you'll be able to use MBS completely for free for a full year. And so will you still want to use that after the year? You don't have to. We highly recommend it. That's why we invested in them. That's a great tool. But if you do want to use them after a year, then it's like $50 a month or something. And you should be like, if you look at the 12-month plan we put together, that'll just be another very minor business expense going forward at that point. The other software tool that we talk about is the advertising tool. We're going to give you 60 days for free. You don't sign up and start using this right away until your product is launched, but that's 2 full free months of one of the best advertising tools out there. It takes so much of the thought process out of it for you, and tells you exactly what to do. You're going to get 2 full months. So you can see exactly what the tool does, try it out, use it for your launch. Also see, whether or not you think it's worth it, or you want to do it manually. You can do the stuff manually as well. So after the 2 months, if you want to, you can either continue using that software to help you with PPC, or simply do it on your own as well. There are no other tools. Retriever, MBS Retriever I showed you, that's free. You don't got to pay for that anyway. But you don't need any other tools. With that said, we are always keeping our finger on the pulse of Amazon. So if we come across a new tool or service or anything that we think will help our members, one, we'll first test it out ourselves. We never would try to tell anyone, hey, great tool, go check it out, without us using it. And then 2, if we figure out there's something that we think will benefit you, we'll work out a special deal on your behalf. But as of right now, you get everything that you need inside of ASM with all the training tools and software. And there's none else that I know of, and Matt knows of, anyone knows of, that you would need to get even after a year once your brand is up and selling.
So we got a good question here from Joanne, who I believe is one of our new ASM members. She asked, did Mike get his Christmas tree from Amazon? That sad looking little tree he's got sitting in the back over there. I called them out for the same thing the other day. I don't know what that thing is.
That is the Charlie Brown Christmas tree, by the way. Love it.
That's a good one. That got me distracted. I don't even have a real question.
I have one right here.
Okay.
Karen is asking about what about customs and duties, et cetera. So one, if you source products from outside of wherever you're selling, so if you're selling on Amazon.com, like we recommend, and the vast majority of products right now, they're made in China. That's just kind of the way the world works right now. Some might be made in Mexico, some might be made in like Taiwan, Vietnam, some in Afghanistan, there's Germany, but primarily it's China. One of the costs of doing business is to pay what are called customs and duties. And these are simply taxes on importing products to the country you'll be selling them. It's a part of business that every single company and business has to incorporate. And when we show you our profit numbers, the estimated profit numbers of a minimum of 25%, those are factored into that. So when we talk about the FBA revenue calculator tool and the importing costs, those duties and taxes are calculated, are already figured into that. So our profits should already be included, all the Amazon fees, all the shipping fees, all the important duties as well. When you get inside ASM, when you start actually finding your product and start talking to suppliers and also start working on getting shipping for your product, you'll be able to figure out exactly then what the duties and taxes will be to make sure before you ever order that product that the profit margin is still what you want. So it's pretty simple. What we recommend using a freight forwarder. Their entire business is to import and export products. They know exactly what your import duties and taxes will be. So once you find your product, you can get an estimate kind of figuring out using the training. Then you can reach out to the list, the short list of freight forwarders that Matt and I use personally, and they will tell you exactly what the duties will be so that you can still validate that your product gives you the profit that you want before you go forward with ordering it.
I'm not muted, am I? Just so everyone knows, we're probably going to have to get off of here in about 15 minutes. That'll put us at about 3 hours, I think, on here. And so we know the training was really in depth and we covered a lot of stuff about ASM. So hopefully you've gotten a ton of value. We're going to keep answering some more questions.
Elise is asking, how much time does this business take to run? I'm a writer, basically, and I spend a lot of time at it. Will this become a distraction to me? So while there's nothing limiting you to how much time you want to put into the business, this is not a business that takes a lot of time, not only to like start off and get going, but especially once it's up and running, it doesn't take a lot of time to maintain. So early on, you can spend probably an hour or two a day. What I did personally, my story is that I was really dedicated to this. I wanted to get this business going, but I had a full-time job. I had kids, so I could not spend, every waking hour working on this business. So I did is just worked 1 to 2 hours a day. I'd go to work, I come home, have dinner with the family. I would work an hour on the business. I'd come upstairs from my home office. That's right now in the basement of my house. Go upstairs, hang out with the family, put the kids to bed, and then go back down and work for like another hour. And I did that for several months while finding the first product, finding a supplier, and then launching it. That's all that it took, just a couple hours a day, 1 to 2 hours a day in order to get going. Then once the business took off and I realized how incredible this was, then I started putting a little more time into it because I wanted to. I was thrilled by it. I didn't have to, but I wanted to find my second product pretty quickly. I wanted to find my third product because I wanted to quit my job. That was the driving force behind it for me. So for me, it just took a couple hours. If you have more time, then absolutely you can put more time into it. That'll just kind of get you where do you want to go faster. But this is not something that by any means will take you full time or many, many hours a day or week to get going. You can do it literally just in a couple hours a day. You can work on the weekends if you want to. You don't have to. Let's like 5 days a week. And if you want to go slower, you can. There's nothing that says you have to find your product in the next, 2 weeks, 30 days, 60 days. Go at your own pace. But I do recommend one thing. If you do have something else you're doing, like another job, you're a writer, you're doing a lot of writing, put together a plan or a schedule. Dedicate just a little bit of time, even if it's 2 to 5 hours a week. Put it on your calendar so that you're doing it. Know that every evening from 7:30 to 8:30, you're going to put in an hour and just go through the videos at least, do a little training. That will at least get you going, get you somewhere, but it also shouldn't stress you out and do too much, take you too much and distract you from your business. Keep in mind though, once you start finding a product and building this business, it can become a bit addicting. I wouldn't call it a distraction. I would call it an addiction because it's so fun to keep coming with new product ideas. and just to kind of think about how you're going to grow this brand and really make it explode. 3 is just kind of the starting point. Really, I had to limit it to tell people, like, in this presentation, to start with 3, but you can pretty easily within a year or 2 get it to 5 products, maybe even 10 within a couple of years. You don't have to, but I think if you love this business as much as we do, you'll want to be spending more time in adding products later on.
Cool. I'm just looking through questions here, seeing what I think we would really need to answer. Okay, so this is a good question. Something that may not have been covered super clear. So Joerg asked, how do you handle logistics from the supplier to Amazon to the customer? So good question. So the way this basically works for most people is that if your product is coming from just about anywhere other than like a US manufacturer, like if you're selling a skincare product or nutritional supplement, maybe you don't need a freight forwarder, but in most cases you want a freight forwarder. So then that company is just a logistics company basically. And whenever your product is ready at your manufacturer in China, for example, if they're producing new cell phone cases for you or Christmas candles, if they're producing those for you and they're ready to ship with your branding and everything on there, the freight forwarder will contact them. They'll arrange shipping from there to wherever you want it to go. And in most cases, it can go straight into Amazon FBA. Or a lot of times the freight forwarder will have their own US warehouses if you want to store some there. But the freight forwarder will take it all the way from China all the way into Amazon, including customs and everything else. And so they'll basically handle all that stuff for you. And it's kind of wrapped up into the shipping cost. And usually it's pretty economical. I mean, it's the same cost everyone has to pay. And so that's the most typical option. The other option is if you have a US manufacturer, you can literally just go inside Seller Central, print shipping stuff yourself and send that to the manufacturer who will send them straight to Amazon. You don't need a freight forwarder. So then you're sending them in Amazon because you want to use fulfillment by Amazon or FBA. And so that is Amazon's warehouses that are all over the world now that allow people to get 2-day shipping, 1-day shipping. So you're in there. So you're not only not having to worry about any of that stuff yourself, but you also get access to all the Prime members and they get free shipping. And so then Amazon will basically take that inventory, and as customers order on Amazon, they'll ship stuff out to customers. You literally do nothing at that point. Amazon takes care of everything. And then you basically get paid every 2 weeks. So that in a nutshell is how it works.
Michael's asking, says, hey, I haven't set up anything on Amazon yet. Do you help with this also? Absolutely. So we walk you through the entire process of setting up your own Amazon Seller Central account. The process is very straightforward. Now, it may vary depending upon like what country you're living in right now, but it's pretty straightforward as far as like going on there. You don't need a company. You don't need an LLC. You don't need an S Corp. You can sign up as an individual. We walk you through in the training how to do that. And then you usually get, within a couple of days, you're approved. Sometimes Amazon right now might send you a confirmation email. They might ask for something like a utility bill. Again, we'll walk you through all that. They might even ask to hop on a quick phone call, just like address or the verification who you are. All those things we have covered in there. And if you have any problems at all, this is, Rich does so many great things with our community and our mentors and our members. But one area that he and several of the people excel at is helping people with unique situations. Let's say that you live in a country that might be a little more difficult to get set up with. We have all the steps to walk you through how to make that happen. If you don't have a name on a utility bill, we have all the steps to walk you through what happened. So whatever your situation is, we've probably been through that no matter what it is, and we'll walk you through what to do to get set up. 80% of the people, it's pretty simple. You just walk through it. But for those other, that 10, 20% who might get a few additional questions, they don't know what to do, post in the community. We take you privately offline, walk through your scenario, and make sure you know exactly what to do in order to get set up selling on Amazon.
So Vanessa here says, I want to join. I just want to understand the payment plan. Payment plan is free on the back end. So what we mean by that is if you go to that form, asmnow.com/million, you'll notice you can pay up front and save some money, or you can pay in a payment plan. And so the payment plan is basically, it's normally 6 payments of $997, but we've gotten rid of the last payment. So it's only 5 payments of $997. So you pay $997 today, and then 30 days later, you pay another $997, and basically for a total of 5 payments, including today. So 4 additional payments after today. And then you basically have the same access the entire time as people who pay up front. It's just they're getting a little bit better deal because they're paying up front. So yeah, that's basically how it works. It's not much else to it.
Larry's asking a question that I've never gotten before on any of these, Matt. So you want to hear this one too. Does your system or product, ASM, with lifetime access also have a legacy feature? In other words, is it transferable to your spouse or adult child? I don't think we've ever gotten that question, but I can tell the answer would be yes. So if you have a family member that you want to run the business with, or let's say that you no longer want to do the business and pass it on down to them, you can pass ASM down to them as well. It would go right along with them. It's lifetime access. We have lots of people that are spouses doing this business. We have lots of people. One of our members, John Gill, one of our early success stories, did this business with his son, who also became incredibly successful. We have, if you watch any of the videos, the launch videos as well that we've had from the previous weeks, you'll see, I think 3 or 4 of the people that we interviewed were couples that actually run this business together. So yeah, you can have a family member, a business partner also use the training with you, and you can pass it on down to someone in your family if you choose to do so.
Cool. Answering a quick question here. I need to send that privately. If we live in a European country, this is Grasa. Do you recommend selling on Amazon Germany? Amazon.de. We recommend for pretty much everyone now, you sell in the US to start off with, even if you're somewhere outside the US. That is our current recommendation. So yeah, everybody, it's been awesome having you here. We've had tons of great questions. We didn't want to jinx ourselves or tell anybody this at the beginning, but this is our first time using Zoom for one of these. So we're pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's gone really well. I think it's a very stable platform, and it's also, we're all used to using this thing now. Whereas we used to use a different platform, which will probably be completely switching to Zoom. So thank you for asking lots of questions, allowing us to answer a lot of them, and for sticking around. You know, I can't read my screen right now, but we've got still 400 people here live after 3 hours now. So, and I know some of you all are not in the US, so it's nighttime for you all, potentially middle of the night for some people on the other side of the world. So yeah, thank you very much. We've covered a lot of this stuff, but just to recap one last time, we've got all of our standard stuff in ASM, the crazy end of year promotion, and this is all ending on Tuesday. So I highly recommend when we mail out the replay, if you're kind of uncertain about this, and especially if you're married or have some sort of long-term partner, watch this with them. Let them see what this is all about. Set aside some time, and I think on our replay versions, people can watch them at like 2x speed if you want to. So you can fast forward. We don't hide any controls, so you can jump forward and backwards. But watch this with anybody else you think is involved in making a decision of whether or not to start this business, and also especially to join ASM, and see what they think and let us know. We'd love to have you inside. Most of this stuff, some of the things are kind of going away now, but most of this stuff is still available till Tuesday. So check it out, think about it, and make a decision before the new year. Because then if you sign up for this before the new year, you'll have a plan. You'll know exactly what to do when the new year starts. You'll be able to hit the ground running and have a plan to create financial freedom for yourself no matter what happens next year. So thank you very much for joining. You can grab all this stuff at asmnow.com/million. Hope to see you on another presentation in the future. Really hope to see you inside of ASM. But yeah, hopefully you have a great rest of your Sunday. So that's it for me. Mike, go for it.
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone again for sticking around. Hundreds and hundreds of people sticking around through the training, through the Q&A. As you can tell, I get excited about this stuff. I love teaching new strategies and tactics, and especially the existing strategies that we know are working. It was interesting kind of using all the Zoom controls today. It was kind of fun trying that out there. Hopefully it went pretty smoothly for you. And I also hope that you learned, really enjoyed the new strategy of taking this entire idea of a brand, which is simply just a few products, and then having this end state in mind a year later that can be worth $1 million or more, but starting with one product that is not competitive, that's simple, that's straightforward, that you can really try out first with as little risk as possible. That's what today's webinar was all about. Not to have you go out there and launch a ton of products and spend tons of money on products that you don't need to yet, just to start very simply with one product. And that's what I hope you got out of this. And that's what I hope you'll get out of joining ASM. So if you're inside of ASM in the next couple of days, I'd love to say hi to you. Also, if you weren't able to sign up yet, talk to your spouse. Hopefully we'll see you before the holidays. If not, have a great holiday, and then hope to see as many as possible in the new year. Take care.
Thanks, everybody.